Have you ever found yourself chasing after a man like a complete idiot? Isn't it crazy how with just a little manipulation, he has turned you into the man? You're asking him on dates. You're letting him walk on your jacket so his little bitty feet don't get wet while you're still wearing the jacket. It's time you end this depressing cycle, okay? Which means you must first understand the strategy being used on you. So here are the 6 steps that men use to bait you into chasing them and how you can avoid them forever. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're participating and paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, I want you to say here are present so I know you're here, you're present, and you're paying good, amazing attention. Okay? We got SH here, of course. We got Melina in the YouTube chat. We got Enlighten A over in the YouTube chat. Enlighten A says, congrats on 7K. Thank you so much. She's talking about 7K on YouTube, 7K subscribers. We got CA over in the YouTube chat. Anitra. We got Venny over in the TikTok chat. Michelle, Scotty, Magdalena, Mia. I'm sure we got lots of other people who are going to be here and present throughout the live stream. All right, let's get started, guys, on this beautiful Friday. So, number one, this is going to be a great topic today. Number one, we have selection, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you from a man's perspective. When we want to figure out the girls we can actually bait into chasing us, there is a selection process, obviously. Not all women are created equal and treated equal. And it will only be a specific type of woman this will work on. So if you feel like you've ever experienced it in your life before, that's because you're one of the women it works on. Okay. Now, when I say selection, what I mean by that is, as men, even if we're emotionally stunted, we still understand that there are certain things we can do and get away with certain people, and certain things with certain people we would never even try or attempt to get away with. Why? Because we know that we have to approach different relationships with different people differently. Okay. And so the selection process is understanding what can I get away with this person and how much can I get away with? Okay. What am I allowed to do? What am I allowed to not do? What am I allowed? What will she accept? What will she not accept? Now, when we're talking about baiting you specifically into chasing us, the men, we are looking for a woman who is in desperate need for attention and validation. Okay. You've heard those words from me before. If you've been participating in the live stream, that's because those are the biggest things holding you back. If you didn't already know. All right. We are looking for, when we want to bait you into chasing us, we're looking for the fact that you will have a desperate need for validation and attention, right? Or some sort of insecurity that is leaving a void in you, that you would be seeking that externally or really appreciate that externally from someone else, i.e. a man, right? And so you're probably thinking, how do men realize this? How do they know that I'm desperate for validation and desperate for attention? How can they feel this when men are so emotionally stunted? There's no way they'll know this. They will know this. Trust me. It's actually not hard to sense when we meet you, go out on a date with you, or even just meet you in person in general. It's not hard to sense the women who are desperate for validation and attention. It will actually, remember, we talk about spirituality, we talk about energy and all that good stuff on here on the show. It will actually be oozing through your pores, okay? Like a nasty sweat, like a musty smell. It will be oozing through your pores that you are desperate for validation and attention. Okay, because when you go out on these dates, men will be able to realize that love bombing works on you, that you're easily manipulated by compliments and nice words right? Words are a great way to manipulate you because they get your emotions all fired up and overwhelmed, and then you get all discombobulated and you can't think straight, right? The selection process is the process of understanding, are you one of those women I can manipulate, right? Specifically, are you one of those women who are desperate for attention and validation from me or any man in general, that if I come along and I make you feel like I'm filling a void that you've been having, now all of a sudden I can control you because I am filling those voids, okay? It's understanding that if I'm trying to access mind control in some ways, in some senses, right? I have to approach the people who are already in a place within themselves that mind control would even be possible. A woman who is too secure, this won't work on. I can't bait her into chasing me, right? Because there's a lot of things I have to utilize as it relates to anxiety. We're going to talk about fear in a little bit, right? There's a lot of things I have to utilize to my advantage to be able to manipulate her, right? Remember, I always tell you guys, the number one way people will manipulate you, but specifically the men will manipulate you, is through your emotions. Regardless of the men being emotionally stunted or not, they still understand how to manipulate and get what they want from you. And over time, as they grow and develop, they realize the best way to get what they want from you is to manipulate your emotions, get you overstimulated in some places and understimulated in others as it relates to your emotions, make your emotions feel like an uncontrollable waterfall that then you begin responding and reacting just based on how you feel without any logic or thinking tied to what it is you're actually doing, okay? So the first step is the identification of who you are. If you are even the right candidate to be someone that I can bait into chasing after me. You want to know why? Because it serves me. If I get you as a man chasing after me and I get you in a perpetual cycle of chasing after me and I can hold that right, I get access to you, free access to you whenever I want. Whenever I want. I said whenever twice. Wherever I want, however I want, for however long that I wanted. And in return, this is the best part. In return, I get to give you absolutely nothing. Nothing you get in return for all of your hard work and all of your chasing. In fact, all that you do give to me in the process of you chasing after me and desiring me and doing all this great, amazing stuff for me, and courting me like a man would, right? In the process of you doing all of that, I actually take everything that you've given me and I take the confidence that you give me by chasing after me, and I take that and I go and give that to another girl who is not desperate for my attention and validation, who doesn't even look my way, that I actually have to court and be interesting to and put my best foot forward and do all of that amazing stuff that you wanted from me. I go and give that to another girl who hasn't even been paying me no mind. Okay, and this is actually what's happening. I told you, if men want access to something as they grow from boys into men, they want access to more Squirtle, they have desires, we've talked about this before, right? They're going to figure out techniques in order to get access to whatever it is they want as quickly, easy, and efficiently as they possibly can. And so over time, this isn't necessarily something they grow up with. They learn the techniques to get access to this Squirtle as quickly, easy, and efficiently as they possibly can. So as they develop these techniques, they begin to understand that these techniques work best on a particular type of woman who is lacking that void of attention and validation, that has that anxious personality that we can we can manipulate all of those different emotions in order to get the result that we are seeking. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Right? So, naturally, the next logical question becomes, how can I stop myself from being one of those anxious, anxiety-ridden, validation seeking, attention seeking woman that needs that from a man that he can then manipulate me through that funnel. My answer to you, in order to be able to do that, you first must begin finding yourself. I know that sounds so philosophical and lame and stupid and dumb, but what I actually mean by finding yourself, I'm going to try and give you real information. You need to figure out who you are and what you stand for and what you find fulfilling. Okay? When I say you need to figure out who you are, I mean you need to figure out, like, really, who are you as a person? Okay? I don't think some of you really understand what that means. Okay? It's not just enough to live and exist. You have to actually be thriving. And in order to be thriving, you can't just be doing the bare minimum in life, just kind of floating through life, not knowing where it is you're going. You as a woman also need direction. So you need to know what it is your goals are. You need to know what it is you're striving for. You need to know what it is you're working towards. And I'm talking more than just, I want to have a boyfriend. Okay? The way you find that out, you actually have to go out and do things and test things to figure out what you're passionate about, to figure out what you enjoy doing, to figure out how you enjoy spending your time. In the process of you going out and trying things and doing things, you will eventually come to a realization of, oh, this was what I was meant to be doing. This is how I fit into the world. This is what my time is meant to be focused towards. Okay, I know you're thinking, but I just want to get him to text me back in 30 seconds. I don't care about a passion. I don't care about a hobby. My passion and my hobby is getting guys to like me. I just want him to like me. I don't care about anything else. I'll abandon everything else. I'll throw away everything else if he just likes me. Look. The reality of it is that mindset is what puts you here in the first place. When all you can think about is, I just want him to like me. I just want him to text me back. That's all I care about. I don't want any other information other than how he can text me back quicker and how I can get him to like me. The truth of the matter is, he will never like you when all of your focus and time and attention is being put towards, how can I get him to like me? How can I get him to text me? Why? Because like I said, that mindset is like a musty body odor. It seeps through your pores and follows you everywhere you go. It's disgusting. And the men can sense it on you. I'm being so serious right now, right? The men can sense that musty scent of desperation and looking for attention and validation on you. Especially when you're thinking, like, I just want him to like, I just want him to see me. but the boys, and your boy crazy, right? The men don't see you and think, oh, I want to love that girl who's so desperate for love. No, they actually see you and think, wow, I can definitely take advantage of that girl who's desperate for love, right? Because the girls they actually respect and the girls that they actually want and they actually chase after are not desperate for their love and attention. Actually, they could care less about their love and attention, which is why they go out and try to be seen, right? And they start chasing after those women. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know for some of you, you're like, oh, but why does it matter so much? I just care about him so much, and I just want this to work so badly, and I just want him to like me so badly because I like him as much, and why can't he like me the same way? You have to understand whether the partner you're with or you're spending time with is a secure person or an anxious person. You have to understand what that does to people. That desperation actually repels people. It's very, very repulsive. It's like body odor, okay? And I told you, when we're selecting the type of women that we're going to get to chase, because think about this. If I can get you to chase me, like I said, it only works out in my good, and I get to have you around forever while I stall and wait for my actual woman to come around until I actually can get access to her. So it benefits me to actually go out and find the women who I can get to chase me. The problem is, As you continue having that mindset of, oh, I just want the men to like me. I just want them all to text me. I don't care about anything else. I don't want to figure out my passions or hobbies. I don't want to try anything except trying to see more boys, right? As you continue feeling like that, the men continue to treat you like that, and you continue to be even more and more desperate for validation and attention from those boys, when your actual energy should have been spent figuring out what you enjoy, what you like, and what makes you feel fulfilled. And listen, look in my eyes. This is the part where you have to pay attention. If you've been half asleep, look in my eyes right now. As soon as you begin investing in yourself and your mind goes away from, what about the boys? What about the boys? When that finally disappears from your mind, I guarantee you that is the same moment those men will be lining up to try to get access to you. Why? Because it will be oozing through you that you are secure and not desperate for their attention or validation. And what happens to the men? They go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and they begin chasing after you, right? Because you're setting up the situation properly. So working on that is actually going out and trying things to figure out what it is you enjoy. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world. Just try something small. Just go to a place you've never been before one time. Then go to another place you've never been before one time, and just keep trying things until something clicks. You will never know what it is you find fulfilling and have enjoyment out of and what your passion is if you don't go out and try things. And there's so many things for you to try. I promise you, just because you're a woman, that doesn't mean you can't have passions or hobbies outside of just wanting to be someone's girlfriend or wife. I promise you, it's not a crime. I can assure you that. Okay? It's okay for you to have passions and hobbies outside of just wanting to sit around and be someone's girlfriend. I can assure you that's okay. Okay. Now I know some of you want super direct examples of what exactly should I do? How exactly should I do it? Okay. Now, if you want to do that and you want to figure out what to do, I give you guys such easy steps. It's hard to mess this up. And I've said this to you guys before. Very simple. Some of you are on TikTok right now watching me. Some of you are on YouTube. I'm sure most of you have access to TikTok if need be. Head over to TikTok. All you have to do is type in the TikTok search bar, things to do in my city, wherever you live. So if you live in Chicago, things to do in Chicago. If you live in Toronto, things to do in Toronto. Things to do in LA, things to do in Miami, things to do in London, things to do in Manchester, things to do in Nigeria, things to do in, New York, wherever you are. And you type that in to the search bar, and you will see a bunch of amazing content creators that will make content for the sole purpose of showing you things that you can do in that particular city. If you live in a small town, just do it for whatever the biggest, largest city is that's closest to you. Okay. And then you don't even have to do any research. All you have to do is scroll through all of the thousands of videos that exist there and pick one that you find interesting and go there. Okay? Grab a girlfriend if you want and go there. If you really want to do it solo, you could do it solo as well. And just continue trying things until you figure out what you enjoy. After you figure out what you enjoy, right, there will be a process of you actually focusing your time and attention onto something else other than just boys all the time. And that's good because you'll begin fulfilling yourself and you'll begin growing your own confidence within yourself, that it's not all predicated on what a man thinks of you. Okay. I'm a man telling you your whole sense of self-worth and value shouldn't be based on what the men think of you, because the moment you start thinking like that, that's when they actually think less of you. All the girls that walk around with the attitude that they don't give a damn what the men think, those are the women who are getting all the attention. All of the women who are sitting down like sad little mouses, like, do you like me? Please, can you like me? Please. I would appreciate it so much if you would like me. They're like, oh my God, you're disgusting. Get your filthy fingers off of me. Okay? That's how they think of you. Okay? So we want you to fill your validation voids, right? And desperation voids that you're not constantly seeking that from the men that you're going out with. Okay. Am I making sense to you guys so far, or are you guys confused still? I know when it comes to examples, or when I'm like, okay, you should do it like this, you guys are like, how should I do it? Tell me exactly how to do it. I don't know how to do it if you don't give me a direct example. I don't know how to live my life. I don't know what to wear in the morning if you don't tell me what to wear. You got to tell me exactly what to do. Okay. Nana says the pick-me's. Yes, they would be called pick-me's. I believe Shira refers to them as pick-mishas. Okay. Nobody likes a pick-misha. I know Shira says it all the time if you guys listen to Shira on YouTube. But I'll tell you as a man, nobody likes a pick-misha. Literally nobody. I'm telling you this as a man. The only pick-mishas that get attention, they're getting attention for the purpose of being used. They're not getting attention for the purpose of actually being wifed. Okay, I'll be the first one to tell you. Pick-mishas only get attention because we realize how we can take advantage of the pick-mishas. Okay, it's not really about the fact that we enjoy pick-mishas. So don't be confused by that. I know sometimes that can be confusing because sometimes you might think, oh, well, you know, the pick-mishas get attention. So if I do it, then I should get it. No. That's not the same type of attention. And it's not happening for the same reason. OK, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. All right. So Diana says we need to be confident in ourselves. 100%. I agree. OK, 100%. I agree. So we have the selection was number one. Number two, we have attention. Now, after we have selected the woman based on the mindset that we know to be the easiest to manipulate, after we have selected the woman, now it's time to focus on giving her the attention in the right way that will trigger the emotion we're trying to and the feeling we're trying to elicit from her that will be able to manipulate her through. Okay, so if we know that we are with a woman who is desperate for validation and attention, we're going to begin now implementing this attention and validation in very vast, large quantities that make it very overwhelming for someone who's been starved of validation and attention. This is where the love bombing comes in. Okay. It's like AKA love bombing, right? Because I know if you've been void of attention and validation, and that's what you're seeking desperately from any man that you're in a relationship with, or any man that you like or likes you, now I know if I give you a whole lot of that at once, you'll get all discombobulated because you won't be able to think straight. All you'll be able to think about is how amazing it feels to get all this love and attention at once from a man. And you'll be in this dream mode. Oh my God, say it again. How big is my dump truck? Say it one more time. Oh my God, how small is my waist? Say it one more time. Oh my gosh, how voluptuous do you think my yitties are? Say it one more time. Oh my, and you're just like, it's like a drug, right? Every time he compliments you, even as he's going over, I want to make you my wife, girl. Yo, girl, I want you to have my kids, girl. Yo, the way you walk around, you a goddess on this earth, girl. Yo, I met you when I met you, it was love at first sight, girl. Love at first sight, girl. Love at first sight, girl. I just laid my eyes on that huge dumpy, and it was love at first sight, girl. Yo, me and you, we need to run off together. We should get married tomorrow. You want to get married in the church tomorrow? Yo, I could buy your dress right now, girl. We just need the papers. We don't need the family. We don't need nothing. We gonna run away and it goes on and on and on and on, and you're just like, oh my God. You're literally having a squirtle gasm, okay? Like you're going crazy over here. It's like the mental gasm, right? And you're going crazy here because he just keeps hitting you with all of this attention, all of this validation, and all you can think about is how amazing it feels. You're just in Wonderland, right? There's a reason for that. Because once we've identified that you're one of those girls and we know that we can hammer you with that, I'm talking the emotional hammer, not the physical hammer, right? The emotional hammer, right? It will easily get your emotions heightened and overwhelmed, where your emotions become like a waterfall and you can't think or see straight because all you can do is feel this rush and overstimulation of emotion that, oh my God, finally my validation from a man. Oh my God, finally my attention from a boy. Oh my God, listen to all the beautiful things he's telling me. Meanwhile, you won't be actually thinking about the fact that what he's telling you doesn't even make logical sense. Okay? Right? Like when these men are telling you that, oh, when he first laid his eyes on you, he knew that he loved you and wanted to make you the mother of his children as soon as he laid his eyes on you, you'll be so overwhelmed with how nice it is to hear that from a man that you won't stop to think that actually doesn't make any real logical sense. Because if we're talking about you basing your knowledge of my character on why you would want me to be your wife and why you would want me to be the mother of your children, then you would have no understanding of what my character is just by seeing me in a room, just by watching my dump truck walk around in my tight pants. And then you'll start to think to yourself, well, there's no way it can actually be about my character why you want to wife me. It literally can only be my voluptuous yiddies or my ginormous dump truck that is making you feel like you want me to be your wife, right? But you're not thinking about the logic. All you're thinking about is how amazing the words sound and how amazing you feel when he's telling you those things. Okay? As he says, or my money. Maybe. In some cases, maybe it's the money as well. Okay? Right? All you can think about is how you feel and how amazing it feels to be getting that attention, that you're easily distracted by everything else and any other logic that would naturally be associated with what he was saying to you. I always give you guys the example. I've given this example before. If let's say you were walking down the street on the sidewalk and a guy came up to you and he was like, oh my God, girl, you got the most prettiest, succulent, amazing, beautiful feet, girl. Your toes, they're so suckable. I could just kiss them right now. I wish I could just put whipped cream on your toenails, eat every crevice of your toenails. I bet you your toe jam tastes like real jam, girl. I can't believe how much I want to suck on them toes of yours. And you're hearing him say this, and then you look down at your feet and you're like, bro, I'm wearing shoes. I'm wearing shoes. How can you see my feet? Like, it's great that you think my feet would be suckable and amazing, but it doesn't make any logical sense. You literally can't see my feet, so you wouldn't be able to determine all this describing you're doing of my feet and how amazing and succulent they are. That's great, but there's no way of you even being able to determine that. You can't see them, right? And it's the same thing for these men who are love bombing you with the love at first sight, with the, oh, I met you, we went on 2 dates and now I know I want to date you. We went on 3 dates and now I know I want to be everything together. We went on this and now I know how I just want us to spend the rest of our lives together. No. This is part of the strategy, okay? And we're going to get to it. You're going to see how it all unfolds and how it all works together, because it's so hard when you're hearing this to realize, because this is the craziest part. When they're saying this to you, you're going to feel like they're the ones in heavy pursuit of you, and you're the one being chased after like crazy, right? You're going to feel like, oh my God, this man is chasing after me insanely. Look at how much he's complimenting me. Look at how much he's saying to me. Look how amazing the words he's saying. Look how much he's talking about he wants me to be his wife and all this stuff. He wants to commit to me. Oh my God, this guy's chasing after me crazy. I'm in my feminine. He's in his masculine. Oh my God, he's doing the most chasing. That is actually the craziest part of the trick and the finesse. Is that right at the beginning, when it's all working how you think it's supposed to work, right? It's going to feel like he's the one chasing after you. But what he's really doing is setting you up to keep your guard down, that you won't realize when the bait and switch happens. Okay? Andrea says, and they say they love you after 2 weeks. 100%. You guys, see, as I'm talking about this, you guys are starting to replay in your minds the situations that you've been through that are exactly like what I'm discussing now. You understand what I'm saying? And you know the types of things, you'll start to be more aware of the types of things that the men will say to you and what they'll do to you or with you when they're trying to elicit these specific overwhelming emotions at the very beginning that you'll easily become blinded to what's actually happening underneath the surface, okay? Right? Remember, was it yesterday or 2 days ago where we talked about, was yesterday, we talked about enchanting a man, right? The same way you can become enchanted by a man if you allow yourself to fall into the trap of the love bombing and the overstimulation of the senses when he starts telling you all this great, amazing stuff in the first 2 weeks with no intention of actually executing any of it that he's talking about, okay? Because at the beginning, it's really going to be a lot of words, not a lot of actions, and not a lot of things for you to actually observe as facts. But the words feel so nice because you have nothing else to go off of, that if you're easily confused and manipulated, you'll easily fall into the trap of believing in everything that he's saying, that by the time the bait and the switch comes, right, or by the time he takes from you what he was looking for, which for the most part is Squirtle, you'll be sitting back confused like, oh my God, I didn't even realize, how did this even happen? Okay? And I don't want that for you, right? Nikisha West sent $5 in the super chat in YouTube. Thank you so much, Nikisha. I really appreciate you. By the way, I wanted to shout out Miss St. Louis. Miss St. Louis for the past couple of days has been gifting on TikTok as well. I think she's been like the top gifter on TikTok. So Miss St. Louis, I really appreciate you for gifting on TikTok as well. I see your donations. And Nikisha, of course, thank you so much for the $5 super chat on YouTube. Okay. I love you all for the gifts. So attention number 2. Okay. So first we had the selection, then we have the attention, so that we can now set you up for the bait and switch, because now you're so overwhelmed by emotion because of all this attention you're receiving for when you thought you would never receive this type of attention from a man. Now it's time for the bait and switch that, feels so good, right? When done right, because you'll never see it coming this way. Okay. So this is where the bait and switch comes in. After the selection and after the attention, I now begin the hot and cold treatment. So I'm sure when you hear me say, you're probably traumatized, okay? Hot and cold treatment is great for us in this scenario for many reasons. When I now know I want to flip the script on you, and I know that you're easily manipulated through your emotions become a vehicle that I can use to pull strings and elicit whatever response from you I want. So if I know that you're desperate for attention and validation, and I know that giving a lot of that attention and validation to you will get you to be overwhelmed and overjoyed and over the moon, now when I take that away from you, what am I doing? I'm giving you anxiety. I'm giving you sadness. I'm giving you confusion, right? I'm taking you on each of these extremes, okay? Because remember, the emotions are the ways I'm going to control you. That's how you become a puppet to me. So if I want to control you through your emotions, it's not just about making you feel positive emotions all the time. And I told you guys about this with the enchantment of a man, right? That was just in the reverse. So for us, when we want to debate you into chasing us, it's not just about you feeling the overjoyed emotions of, oh my God, now you want to be with me. Oh my God, now you want to make me your wife. Oh my God, now you want me to have your children, right? It's also about making you feel the anxiety and the desperation of feeling like I no longer am interested in you. Why? Because you begin questioning yourself as if you've done something wrong to elicit that response from me, when in actuality, that was my plan the entire time. Okay? Let me break that down a little bit more, right? So as I pull away from you, let's say we're in a relationship, right? And let's say on the second date, I'm telling you how much I want to make you my wife. I know for sure we're going to be in this long relationship. I know for sure we're going to last forever. I know for sure I want to make you the mother of my children. And I tell you all this amazing stuff about your character that I wouldn't actually know because I don't actually know you that well. But I just project onto you this amazing character. You're so nice. You're so generous. You're so kind. You're so sweet. You'd be such a great mother. And I don't actually know you. But I'm just saying it, and you're just taking it in. You're taking it in. You're taking it in. And then after about, let's say, 3 weeks of that, right? All of a sudden, I start pulling back on that, right? When I say pulling back on that, I mean pulling back on the intensity of, oh, you're the most amazing woman ever. I want you to be my wife. I want us to go here. We got to go on a trip to Greece. We got to go on a trip here. I want to take you here. I want to take you around the world. I want it, right? And it starts to become less and less. Now I'm texting you less. Now I'm calling you less. Even when we do speak, I'm not really as engaged, right? I just seem very uninterested. I seem very detached, right? And that coldness, right? Especially the coldness, not just in itself, but the coldness in contrast with how hot it was at the very beginning. Now your alarm bells go off. Okay, now you went from feeling the extreme overjoy, happiness, positive emotions over here when I was love bombing you, and now you're feeling all of these negative, bad emotions sadness, because of how I'm taking it away from you. You begin to question yourself, right? You begin to question yourself and say, did I do something? Did I say something? Am I uninteresting? Did I become boring? Let me know in the chat. How many of you have ever been in a situation where a guy has used the hot and cold treatment on you, and then you began to question yourself and wondering if you did something wrong? Oh, silly me. Right? Let me know if that's ever happened to you, where you've been in a situationship or a relationship where after he does his hot and cold thing, now all of a sudden you're questioning yourself and thinking of all the possible things you might have done that would have made him uninterested in you. Let me know if you've ever been in that situation. I see Callie says it happened to me. Artist says yes. Melina says, yep. Me and Light Nay says, yep. In the YouTube chat, Nikisha says it constantly happens. I see a lot of people in the TikTok chat saying yes. Ever After says yes. Diana raised her hand. Sassy says I did. SH says yes. Okay. Bree says, but what's scarier is I didn't know and I asked him if I had done something wrong. That's crazy. Kina says this has definitely happened to me. Brianna says yes. Okay. Angie says it's happening now. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Danio says almost in all my relationships. Okay. And the crazy part about that is after, right, we give you that hot and cold treatment and you begin questioning yourself. Now it becomes a hands-off process. See, all of the work of the baiting you into chasing him was at the very beginning, where he had to select you and then give you just the right amount of attention through the voids that you had to perfectly fit the needs that you had. But now that he pulls back, all he has to do is let this simmer, right? It's like you're on the stove. He just got to let it simmer. Let it sit. Let you continue pondering on what it was that you did, what it was that you said, how it is that you acted. Let you begin to question everything about your relationship. Question everything about the person that you are. Question if you're even worthy of his love. Question if you're even worthy of his time and attention, right? Because logically, you'll begin thinking the only way he could go from being super interested in me to being not interested in me at all is if I did something that offended him, that repulsed him, that repelled him. And so because that's the natural logic train that you would follow, any human being would follow, you now start looking at yourself and, going back on yourself and looking, okay, what did I do on this day? You're now analyzing every single bit of behavior. What did I do on this day? What did I say on that day? How did I text him? Did I call him? Did I text twice? Oh, maybe I didn't text enough. Maybe I didn't call enough. Maybe on the dates I wasn't interesting enough. Maybe on the dates I didn't talk enough, and maybe I was just sitting back and then he realized how boring I was. Maybe I don't dress nice enough. Maybe my dump truck is not as big as the other girl's dump truck, and now he realizes my dump truck is not a really nice dump truck, and now he's interested in other girls' dump trucks. Oh my God, I don't have the voluptuous yitties like everyone else has. Then you start looking in the mirror. You're like, oh my God, my yitties are so much smaller than every other girl. girl's yitties. He doesn't like my yitties. That's why he's uninterested in me. And maybe if I had bigger yitties, he would be more interested. And you're going insane. You're spiraling. Okay? And that's the crazy part. This part of the process is hands off. He doesn't have to do anything, because the less he says, the more you can be in your own head. And this is the key element, okay? This is why I want you guys to be paying attention. This is the key element to how the script eventually gets flipped, right? Because as you begin thinking all of this, oh my God, I did this and I did that wrong and I did this wrong, and why would I do that and why would I say that? And you're now overanalyzing every single little bit of your own behavior without him saying anything or addressing anything, right? Now, the next logical step after you analyze your own behavior until you're blue in the face, right? After you analyze every single little bit of your behavior, you now begin thinking of what it is you need to be doing in order to get back the version of him that was super interested in you. Okay, this is the key. Pay very close attention. You begin to have an internal mind switch from saying to yourself, oh, I am doing this, right? Sorry, I am here being courted by him. He wants me. He's chasing after me. He likes me. After he pulls away from you and you begin thinking to yourself, what did I do wrong? What did I say? How did I act? What does he not like about me? Why is he uninterested in me? Now you begin thinking, what must I do in order to get him re-interested in me as he once was interested in me? Now you're cooked. You're literally cooked. You're finished. Okay? Because now you begin embodying the mindset of someone who is trying to actively seek the approval of the man you're dating. Okay? So you're dating a man, but you're constantly thinking about how you can get more of his approval and satisfaction and validation, that he will be more happier with you, that he will eventually be as interested in you and go back to chasing you as he once did. Because part of this process of being cold is you're going to feel like he's not chasing you anymore. And the problem is when you're super desperate for that attention and validation, that's really going to sting. The fact that he would pull away from you and stop chasing you. And the fact that that stings, you want him back in the position that felt the most comforting to you, which was him chasing you, overwhelming you with a whole bunch of love bombing. That's where you're the most happy. And now that you don't have that, and that's the only thing that your life is centered around, and that's the only way you'll have self-worth or self-value, now your world has come crashing down. And so you desperately want to regain that dynamic, but instead of doing things for yourself that will help him be more interested in you or make yourself more desirable, you end up doing more things for him and pushing forward towards him to try and alleviate your pain of that distance and that coldness that you're feeling from him. Okay, this is the very pivotal switch that happens that leads to you eventually chasing, oh, it's so sad, eventually chasing the man. Okay, it's the very simple bait and switch. So after we get through the selection and figure out that you're the desperate in need of validation woman, we then get to the attention, right? Then we got to the hot and the cold, and that's where we had the gigantic mindset shift in you. Now we're set. Now that we have you in the right mindset that we want to, this is where the breadcrumbing comes in. Okay? How many of you know, I know some of you are super smart. How many of you know what breadcrumbing means? Answer me in the chat if you know what breadcrumbing means. I want to see how many of us already are aware of this. Okay, I want to see who knows, right? Brianna says she knows. Okay. Sharon says the bare minimum. Miley says me. Tell me, what do you guys think it means? Queen says giving a little and taking it away. C. Bernadette says, I don't know. It's great. We're going to discuss it. So now you'll learn something new. Jenny says, unfortunately, yes. Goodness Hell says giving a little attention when they want to. Rick says little bits in the YouTube chat. Special K says being a victim too many times. And Light Nay says barely giving you the time of day. Artist also says yes. And Callie says she knows what breadcrumbing is as well. Okay, I'm glad you guys know. And I see some people that don't know and that aren't aware. It's okay. We're all going to learn together. Melina says a form of manipulation giving us just enough to be hooked. Okay. Some of you are very smart. Okay. So breadcrumbing. It's a great process for if you want to manipulate someone, whether you're a man or a woman. Breadcrumbing is a very efficient process. In this specific scenario, if a man understands now that you are desperate for the attention and validation, and how you begin to become anxious when you don't receive that, this is now a great place, because now you're in the mindset where you're trying to prove to me anything you can that you will get that same level of intensity and passion from me that you felt at the very beginning of our relationship. So now what I do is I basically tote the line between giving you just enough attention and validation that you still feel like it could be a possibility to that we have the relationship you were imagining we would have at the very beginning, but I never give you enough where it actually feels like you're getting the same amount of focus and attention that you once got from me when I was love bombing you at the very beginning, right? There's a specific reason for this breadcrumbing, right? Because you're constantly going to be in limbo between feeling like you finally did it just enough to get him back interested in you, but not enough where you actually feel like you've really done it. And you just constantly feel like you're in a relationship, but you're super unsatisfied, but you can't really pinpoint why you're unsatisfied. You just know that you want to continue chasing after the satisfaction or the fulfillment. The problem is with breadcrumbing, that fulfillment never comes, and it's never supposed to come, because if I'm baiting you to chase after me, it's never going to come, because if it never comes, you'll continue pushing forward, trying to force it to come. This is where you start to actually pursue the man, okay? This is where the flip happens, because now that you've already adopted the mindset that I need to do things in order for me to get you back into the place where you once were, love bombing me, being so appreciative of me, giving me all these compliments, even though they didn't make logical sense, but at the time they just felt good. You just want so badly for our relationship to resemble that you once felt at the very beginning, that now you're willing to do absolutely anything. Now you're the one pushing forward and doing the most. Oh, now I'm calling him. Now I'm the one asking him on the, hey, are you busy today? If you're not busy today, then are you busy the next day? When can we go on a date? It's been like a month since we went on a date. I know you're so busy and you don't have time for any dates. Maybe I could just stop by your house and I'll cook you some food. You know, I'll stop by your house. I'll cook you some food. You can use my Squirtle, and then I know you have to go to bed soon. So maybe I'll just cook you some food, and then you can use my Squirtle directly after I cook the food, and then I'll just go home after. And then like maybe we could just spend like a little bit of time together. Like if we could just cuddle for 5 minutes, no, 2 minutes, no, 30 seconds. I'll cuddle you while I make the food. Okay, yeah, just that's enough for me. I'll tell yeah. Do you think you like me as much as you used to like me? Do you like me still? Like, do you love me still, or is it different now? Or do you think like it's a little bit different now? Right? And he's sitting back like, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. This is great. And you're spiraling. Like you're in front of him. You're like silly putty. You're spiraling, going insane. And he's sitting back. He's saying nothing, right? Because he understands that the less he says, the more you'll spiral. And the more you spiral, the farther you'll push to try to gain his attention and validate. You'll be like this, please, can you see me? Can you look at me, please? I feel like you're not, I feel like you're seeing right through me. I feel like I'm invisible and you're actually looking at the girl's dump truck that's standing right behind me. Can you see me or no? Just, can you tell me if you see me or no? Do you love me or no? Is it different now? Right? And you're just cycling. and you feel like you're just not getting enough. And the crazy part about it, this is how the breadcrumbing comes in. Because as you're chasing, because now you're in chase mode, okay? Now you're in chase mode. As you're chasing, he'll begin to allow you to chase him. This is as weird as it sounds, right? He'll begin to allow you to chase him, but he'll actually make himself kind of hard to get, okay? So you're going to be chasing him, but he's never going to give you the validation of making you even feel like you actually got him back to the place where he once was. So you're constantly going to feel unsatisfied. You're going to be like this analogy I've given before. You're going to be like the rabbit chasing the carrot, right? He's going to dangle that carrot of validation and attention in front of you, right? And you're going to be like, oh my God, if I could just taste just the tip of the carrot, I would love it so much. And you're going to go like this. And you're gonna, I just had a little bit. It was like a little taste and I felt so good. And if I could just reach and stretch and do the most and whatever I can do to just get a little taste of the carrot. And it's gone again. And but it was so close. I felt like I had it that time. I would do anything. It's right. And it's always out of your grasp. It's never firmly in your grasp. And when I say firmly in your grasp, in the analogy, his validation and attention, the love bombing, the feeling that you once had at the very beginning of the relationship that you're trying to chase after and recreate, it never quite feels like that. And it never quite feels that satisfactory and fulfilling because you're constantly feeling like he is not as interested in you as he once was. He doesn't care about your relationship or you as he once did. He doesn't find you as attractive or desirable as he once did. When in reality, all of that was actually manufactured desire, manufactured attention, manufactured validation that he could lay it on thick at the very beginning, even though it didn't make any sense to be laying it on that thick at the very beginning. But you weren't thinking about that because all you were focused on was being overwhelmed and overjoyed with all of these amazing words and phrases and feelings that you were feeling. And so because you weren't worried about how or if that made logical sense, now you find yourself in a position trying to chase after a feeling that was manufactured in the first place. And so you will never find your happy place. You will never find your fulfillment. You will never find the same satisfaction that you once did when he was manufacturing all of those feelings, right? That you would become over emotional about the relationship and distracted on what's actually happening. Okay. Rosie said we need AI boyfriends for validation. That's funny. Okay. Are you guys following along with me so far? Right? Right? Strawberry Bud says, why do all men act the same? Because they're all the same. Well, like I said before, as the boys mature, they realize the specific techniques that they can use in order to get a squirtle as easy and efficiently as possible. So the reason you feel like a lot of the men are acting the same is because they're using the same techniques because they realize that these techniques work. They don't work on every girl, but the type of girls that they do work on, they work 100% of the time, which is why I know for some of you, you guys like to ask me, I read every comment. So I see some people, they comment, yeah, that's great, but you should start teaching the men how to act. You should teach the men how to be gentlemen. You should teach the man how to be respectful. You should teach the man how to do the right thing. You should teach the man how to date. You should teach the men this, teach the men that, tell the men this, because the men are effing up. The men are idiots. The men are the worst. The men are doing all the things that are bad in the world, in the dating world, in the relationship world. Make sure you fix the men. That's all you need to worry about. Don't be worrying about telling us what to do with the girls. Tell the men what to do. Tell the men how to act right. Let me let you in on a little secret. Those of you that feel that way. Okay? Let me let you in on a little secret. I could sit here till I'm blue in the face telling men how they should act and treat women. Yeah, guys, look at me. I'm wearing all white. I'm a handsome black man. You should treat women with respect. You want to know why? because that's the right thing to do. And in this world where everything is sunshines and rainbows, we always do the thing to respect all others. We try our best to respect people's boundaries and treat them the way we want to be treated. Because in this world of kindness and happiness and joy, where we all frolic in flower booms, that's how everyone deserves to be treated. And so when you go out and you see your women, make sure you take your time with them. Make sure you don't manipulate them. Make sure you don't use their emotions against them. Make sure you don't try to extract anything they wouldn't want to give you. Just go out and treat everyone with kindness and respect, because the black man wearing all white said so. Right? I could say that. And then you want to know what's going to happen directly after that? They're going to say, cool story, bro. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, because why would I do more work to get the same result that I've been getting from these girls when all I have to actually do is sell them a dream that they already want to believe in, get access to their Squirtle, and then I can move on to the next girl. Why would I treat all of them with respect because a black man on the screen says I should? Makes no sense. I'll be behind all the other men who don't do that and manipulate these women. They're going to be sleeping with all the men that I want to, they're going to be sleeping with all the men. They're going to be sleeping with all the women that I want to be sleeping with. Meanwhile, I'm the loser sitting around treating the women with respect and kindness, waiting my turn. And then all the other guys who don't do that get to run through all the, no, I'm not doing that. That's a waste of my time. Okay. And they're all just going to revert back to doing what they were going to do in the first place, because it's not about treating you with respect or I don't want to burst your bubble. Men don't treat you with respect and kindness because you're so amazing that they want to treat you with respect and kindness. They treat you with respect because they fear losing you. And they're kind to you because they understand if they don't approach you the right way, they will not have access to you in the first place. Okay? So a lot of those actions are based on fear. Right? That's fine. But I want you to understand, these men aren't going to change their approach simply because it's the right thing to do. They actually need a real reason to change their approach. And the only way they would change their approach is if they realized that the techniques they were using were less efficient and didn't work as well. Which is why I think it's a better use of my time to spend time talking to you guys, you women, about the things that are happening that you may have not realized in your relationship and the strategies that are being used, that you can actively take that knowledge and work with that and understand what's happening, that you don't continue to face those same situations. Because the guys are going to continue trying the techniques and continue utilizing them as long as they work. Okay? So me telling them not to use the technique doesn't make it any less effective if you don't understand what the technique is in the first place and aren't able to have the knowledge to fight against that. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand why we're here? Do you understand why we're listening to this and we're learning and we're having a discussion here? Okay? Because I know for some people, they get all distracted by tell the men to do this, tell the men to do that, tell the men to act better, and then they don't hear anything that I'm saying because all they want to focus on is how the men are doing wrong. Yes, the men do wrong. Okay, that's not shouldn't be news to you. You're not looking to be in a relationship with every man. You're only looking for the man you're looking for. So let's figure out how you can filter out all the men who you're not looking for by understanding more of these strategies and techniques that are being used on you, and then also coming up with some strategies and techniques for yourself that you can use to get your desired result. Okay? I always talk to you guys about having a destination in mind. That way you don't get distracted by putting your attention and focus on where your destination isn't. Okay? I see, so it's like for example, people be like, oh, well, why can't the guys on dating apps be respectful and not just want to utilize me for my Squirtle? Let's be for real, okay? The guys that are getting on dating apps aren't there to make their life harder. If they're getting on a dating app, they're not trying to make it harder to meet a girl and get access to her. They're actually trying to make it easier. So rather than focusing on what, it's so bad that the men go on dating apps and they just want things quick and easy. How about you realize that the men want it quick and easy on the dating apps, and you actually remove yourself from being in the places where the men who are looking for quick and easy are. That way you can focus your time and attention on the men who aren't looking for quick and easy. Notice every time I talk to you guys about the bad men or the red flag men, I'm a red flag man. So don't think I'm like a good green flag man, okay? But notice every time I talk to you guys about the bad men, I'm never saying to you that good quality men don't exist in this world. That's not what this is about. It's about helping you understand the how the bad men exist, why they exist, and what they're doing, and why you can't get rid of them or avoid them. Okay, that's what we're here to discuss, and that's what I want you to better understand. Okay, right? Missing Louis says some women need to live in reality. I think, for some of us, it serves as it's a bit of a distraction, right? Because rather than having to look inward, it can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be very upsetting to feel like you're in situations, especially when it comes to your relationships. It can be very upsetting to realize that you actually played a role in your own bad relationships, in terms of allowing people to treat you poorly, sticking around while they treat you poorly, and then also not looking out for the signs of people who are attempting to manipulate you or use you. It can feel very, very bad when someone points a finger at you and says, actually, you're part of the reason for where you ended up in your own life. Actually, you're majority of the reason, because people can only treat you bad if you allow them to. People get very upset by that, and they want to cast the blame on other people instead of thinking, okay, I know I messed up. How can I do better now? Because that's what will give you your desired result. Okay. Rosie says, I feel like I play myself. We all do. Okay. But that is the first step to actually having better relationships, realizing that you have been playing yourself. You've been stringing yourself along. Okay. Because that's what some of us have been doing. For some of you that this resonates with you, it's because you found yourself in this situation before. Right. And so when we talk about selection, we talk about attention, we talk about hot and cold. I talked to you guys about the breadcrumbing. Now comes in the fear. All right. Fear's tough. Okay. I told you guys this whole process of getting you to chase the man is all about the emotions, because you're an emotional being. And the more I can manipulate your emotions, I can elicit specific responses out of you. Fear is a great emotion to utilize to manipulate you. And in this specific scenario, getting you to chase me as a man, fear is the basis of what we will be operating under in order to get you chasing. I'm talking about chasing heavy. I'm talking about desperate now. I'm not talking about just a light, when are we going to go on a date? I'm talking like now you're the one calling. You're the one initiating every conversation. You're the one double text. You're getting literally nothing in return. And you're doing everything, reaching out all the time, saying things all the time, justifying everything that he's doing all the time, right? And you're doing all of this all the time. Okay? Why? Because I understand. If I want you to chase me, I want you to be in fear that you will not have me. This is part of the hot and cold. This is part of the breadcrumbing, right? I breadcrumb you and I pull back from you, understanding that you will be in fear if you don't have me or you completely lose me. Why? Because think about it. Think about the contrast. Think about the contrast to what it felt like at the very beginning of the relationship, when I was so into you, when I liked you so much, when I wanted you so badly, right? And think about how horrible that would feel, especially if you've given yourself to me in this time span, and me love bombing you, giving you all this overwhelming feeling, giving you all these good happiness, all this joy, overjoy, all these emotions, right? How good you felt at the beginning. And then you gave yourself to me in the span of you feeling all this amazing feelings, all these amazing emotions, right? You gave yourself to me. I just mean give your Squirtle to me, right? And now that you've given me your Squirtle and you're starting to feel me pull back, now the fear is starting to set in. The fear that I'm pulling back, but not just because I'm uninterested in you. I'm pulling back because I don't even want to be with you anymore. Right? The distance begins to grow and grow and grow to the point where now you're in fear that I might actually walk away from you, or I might actually want another girl instead of you. So it's not just about trying to regain the same amount of attention and validation I was giving you at the beginning. Now it's about trying to regain me in general. Okay, you start embodying the psyche of someone who's like lost their ex and is trying to get their ex back, even though you're still in a situationship or relationship with this guy, right? Now you're on 100% offensive because you're in fear now. It's not just about getting him to be interested in you again. Now you're scared. Oh my God, I think I just wasted a body. If he leaves me or walks away, I've completely wasted a body. I've completely wasted 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, a year of my life. I've wasted all this energy on him. I've given myself to him. I've tried to do everything I possibly could for him, and he never saw me. He never appreciated me. I tried to do this. I tried to do that. I cooked for him. I said this for him. I did this for him. I took him here. I let him borrow my car. I did all the things I could possibly do that he would want to be with me still, and he would show me that same attention and validation. Now it's not even that he just doesn't want me. Now it's like he wants to leave me and he's pushing me away, right? He's denying even my own advances to push forward towards him. He's telling me he doesn't want to hang out anymore. He's telling me he doesn't want to spend time anymore. He's telling me he doesn't want to do anything together anymore, or cuddle anymore, or do whatever anymore. And so you stoop even lower because now you're on, like, you're in emergency mode. You're like, I'll do anything to keep you. So literally now you're begging him. This is so sad. And this will be tragic to listen back to, knowing some of you have actually been through this. Now you begin doing things like offering him versions of you and your relationship that give you nothing, just for the sake of you having the tiniest hope of keeping him. So you'll begin doing things like, okay, well, we can just be friends with benefits if you want. And, you can do whatever you want. And it's like, we can still hang out whenever you feel like, you want to hang out, and we'll just be like casual friends with benefits. And, like, I'll just be around and we'll like do our thing together and stuff like that. But I won't bother you. And I won't like, we don't have to be exclusive or anything. Knowing yourself that you're not going to be with anyone else. Knowing yourself that you're not interested in anyone else. Knowing yourself that you're not about to sleep with anyone else, but you're in so much fear that he's going to walk away from you that now you're literally like, please take advantage of me, use me however you want to use me. Just as long as you use me, I will be okay with that little amount of validation, because I feel like if that's the only version of validation and attention I can get from you is just by you using me every now and again, and I got to live with that, I will live with that. I'm so like, this is what's actually happening. Okay. When you find yourself in a situation where you've gone from being in a relationship with the guy to now you're offering that guy friends with benefits, right? As an option for him to downgrade. If you're allowing a man to downgrade you from like girlfriend status into something lower, and he still has access to you after he downgrades you, you've lost. You've lost. You've lost in ways I can't even put into words. You've lost, and you are lost. Okay? After a man downgrades you from girlfriend status, he should never have access to you again. If you stick around after you've been downgraded, the amount of respect he'll have for you is this big. Is this big. Okay? It'll be nothing. Do not put yourself in a position where you are in so much fear now because of this desperation for the validation and the attention, that now you're literally willing to give yourself away for nothing while he takes advantage of you, and you continue to chase after him and his approval. This is such a vicious cycle. The reason I'm talking to you guys about this is because this is such a vicious cycle. I don't even think you realize once you get here, right? Once you're down here in this fear level, this is close to impossible to pull yourself out of. Because now you're chasing after something that's never going to come. You're chasing after someone who doesn't even see you or is interested in you. You're trying to manufacture a relationship that is never going to happen. And so it becomes extremely difficult to pull yourself out at this point. I'll just be real with you. Okay? Because everything in your soul and in your being will be trying to justify why you should continue staying longer. Because as you continue investing more and more and more, you continue finding it harder to walk away because of all the investment you've continuously put forward into the relationship. Okay? And I'm telling you this because I'm telling you this as a man because I've done this. Okay? I'm not sitting here to tell you I'm wearing all white and I'm such an amazing, awesome man and you should only look for men. I'm telling you this because I've utilized this on women. And I have friends, plenty of guy friends who subconsciously, they might not be able to articulate it like me, but utilize this on women. Okay? It will be very hard for you to pull yourself out of this when you're in the hole this deep. This is why, like I said earlier, it's vitally important that you take care of your validation and attention needs. Give yourself your own validation and attention, that you don't have these voids that end up being filled by men. Because when the men are filling those voids for you, now they get to pull the strings and control what you feel your own self-worth is. Okay? Think of it like that. If you have the void of the validation and attention monster in you, that you feel like the only way to fulfill that is through the man's validation and attention, just remember that that man will now be in control of what you think of yourself. Okay? And if I'm in control of what you think of yourself, I control you. So inherently, it's like giving control of yourself to a stranger, because these people you're dating are strangers. Okay? You don't know them, right? You only get to know them over time. So effectively, you're giving control over yourself, your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit to a stranger that gets to do with that power, that control, whatever it is he pleases. If he wants to use you and squeeze the life out of you until you're dry and just useless, he will do that. It's up to his discretion how he wants to utilize you if he has complete control over you. If you do not want to be giving control over yourself to strangers, you need to be investing in yourself, number one. And you also need to be fulfilling your own personal desires. You're giving yourself confidence, doing things for yourself, figuring out what you care about, figuring out what you enjoy, figuring out who you are, that no one can decrease your self-worth by taking away their attention or validation. Okay? I'm telling you this because I know it really happens, right? I'm not just telling you this because, I think it's the right thing to say. Like I've actually experienced this from the opposite perspective. Okay, so once you have the selection and you have the attention and the hot and cold, then you get to the breadcrumbing, you get to the fear. Now it's time for princess treatment. Princess treatment, right? Because as long as he can continue keeping this cycle ongoing and keeping you with the balance of fear that he's going to leave, right? He's probably got you in a situation where you're good with the friends with benefits thing, or you're okay with him doing whatever he wants to do. You don't really address it. You don't really stand up for yourself. You don't really set boundaries. He knows he can do whatever he wants to do. And this is where it's full blown princess treatment at this point, because now he gets to say, you know what? It's not good enough for me to just utilize you. What else you got? You got a car I can use, I can drive? You got money? Give me money. Give me money. You got money? I know Sky. I remember Sky's situation. She had a situation where she gave, not to out Sky, but Sky had a situation where she gave a guy $1,000 the last day that he saw her. Okay. It's okay. We all make mistakes, right? They'll be like, you got money? Give me money, right? Buy me this, buy me that. Take me here. Let me borrow your car. Can I use your place? I want to throw a party at your place. I'll just bring a couple of friends, and they bring a girl. I've actually seen this happen where a guy is using a girl, and she's so deep, like she can't pull herself out. She's so deep that the guy actually, this wasn't me, by the way, I'm being honest. Like, I've seen a friend do this. She was so deep in that the guy actually asked her to use her place to throw a party. He threw the party there at her place. And then he slept with the girl in the bathroom. Not slept, obviously, like, you know, he got some pineapples in the bathroom of her place at the party he threw at her place. This is real. Okay. Like, this is real. Right. And this really happens, right? Because they want to up the ante on the princess treatment. After a while, it becomes boring to just use you. After a while, it becomes boring to just, you know, have easy access to you. It's not enough. They want full-blown princess treatment. They want you to be in chase mode to the point where, bro, you a full-on man. That's why my thumbnail on YouTube is "You the Man," because you literally, now you the man. You might as well go to the gym, take testosterone, and build you up a six-pack, a muscle pack. Just get big, because you the man now. You giving him all types of princess treatment. You got him borrowing your car. You giving him money. You buying him gifts. You taking him on vacation. You doing all type that made me sad, man. You doing all type of stuff that you have no business doing for a man that you just started dating, or that's not even your boyfriend. You understand what I'm saying? Not that you should never do anything nice for a man, but you damn sure don't need to be doing nothing nice for no strangers, no strange man that you don't really know, that have no commitment to you. I'll like, just be for real. Be so for real. Okay? Mabula says, I would buy groceries. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when you look back on it, you think to yourself, why was I doing that for someone who wasn't even showing me the same commitment or care or appreciation, right? Buying groceries, sending him money, giving him money, doing things for him, doing chores for, like, going out of your way for someone who's literally telling you the best I can do for you is friends with benefits. Take it or leave it. I'll take it, I guess. I have no other option. And then you're sitting there. What more can I do for you, master? I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do anything. Do you want me to give you money? What else do you need? I'll crawl on my hands and knees. What else do you want me to do? I'll scrub your toilet. Okay, I'll scrub your toilet. And you're getting nothing in return. Literally nothing in return. It'd be different if that man was at least, you know, spending money on you or something like that. You're getting nothing in return. No respect, right? You're probably barely even getting schlong at that point, right? It's literally at that point just turns into princess treatment and the ego boost of understanding that he has control over you. That's where you've transitioned into the, I don't know, you're in outer space at that point, where he's just receiving princess treatment and the ego boost from being able to manipulate and control you. Because the princess treatment is great, and the control is the ego boost that he needs, at a certain point, he becomes bored with even utilizing your Squirtle. He just likes to remind himself how much control he has over you by periodically coming back and stepping back in and just being like, oh, what's up? I'm back again. Time for me to use you, and you can't say nothing about it because you're too desperate to stand up for yourself. And every time you say okay, he feels better about himself because he goes back and he says, yeah, I'm the man. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't stand up for yourself. You couldn't even try. You couldn't even try. The way I be laying down this schlong on you, girl. Give me that princess treatment, girl. Feed me my grapes, girl. Feed me my grapes. Give me the green ones. Give me the green ones. Make sure you clean them off before you give them to me. And wave me with that fan, girl, while you at it. Yeah. The way I be hitting you with that schlong got you sprung, huh? I'm telling you. This how the men be thinking of you when you be giving them all that, right? When you in full blown chase mode, this how they be thinking of you. That's how they be thinking of you. That's no cap. Sad to tell you, but at least now that you understand the technique, and at least now that you understand what's happening, you can understand how to work on that and avoid that. Okay, we want to avoid that happening to you. If it's happening to you, we don't want that to happen to you ever again. And so what are we going to do? We're going to start going out for ourselves, doing things that we enjoy for ourselves, not just because we want to be around boys. Go places you like, figure out what you are passionate about, figure out what you care about, start spending time doing that. Care about more things about yourself than you do about being available to boys, right? And you'll begin to grow your confidence in yourself. And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be going to a museum. Maybe you enjoy art. It could be you get a canvas and you start painting stuff that you enjoy doing, right? It could be, I don't know, maybe you're a race girl. You love cars. You go to a car show or you go to a racetrack, whatever it may be that you find interesting. Maybe you love hiking. You love nature. You start going on hikes. Right. And eventually there's people that love running. I seen the other day, people in Toronto were posting a 5K run club where it's like a whole bunch of people. They just go on a run club thing together and they all run this trail together and stuff like there is so many amazing things for you to do out in this world that is not just sitting on your couch and scrolling through dating apps. I can cross my heart, hope to die. I promise you to the heavens. There is so many amazing things for you to do in your life that is not just sitting around swiping through dating apps. And I promise you, the more you step out of your house, the more your confidence will increase, the more your self-worth will increase, the more your security in who you are as a person will increase and be solid and unshakable, that no one can come around and give you attention and then take it away and use it as a way to manipulate you. You'll just be like, bro, first of all, you're coming over here love bombing me. I'm not hearing none of that because none of what you're saying is realistic or logical. You're just saying words that don't mean anything. So I'm not moved by that. And then in the process of you not being moved, when you see them, trying to maneuver, oh, but I love you so much. So doesn't that mean that I should get access to your Squirtle? No, because you don't love me so much because you don't know me. So I'm not giving you a Squirtle. And actually the fact that you're trying to manipulate me into giving you a Squirtle because of how much you love me lets me know that you're not here for the right reasons. And you'll become so much more smarter and capable of walking away from relationships or situationships before you even end up giving yourself to the person. And you'll walk away with so much more self-respect. You're happy, I'm happy, we're all happy. Okay? Now, do you guys have any questions about what we just talked about? I feel like my ex guy says his tactics, but he's a felon. He can't go to Canada. LMAO. That's crazy, actually. That's crazy. I can't believe you dated a guy like that, but we all make mistakes. Like that, a trash dude, his character for him to know what he's doing, but want to F the girl up. It's an ego thing. Remember, right? If I can control you and I know I can control you and I can continue controlling you and you can't do anything about it, that's an ego boost, right? Cherie said that's why we demand money and bills paid because men are just a waste of our time. Hey, you said it, not me, right? Dinah says you're awesome for educating us. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I try to give some knowledge on my own experiences. Okay. Right. Where are the morals? Are we just raising men wrong? I kind of talked about this before, right? I mean, obviously it would be amazing if we could teach a whole bunch of men to respect and appreciate women. But at the end of the day, there's no amount of words I could use that will convince men that they should respect or appreciate women if the techniques that they've been using to get easy access to women continue working. They'll just continue using those techniques. So it's actually a better use of time if I help the women understand what the techniques are, that they don't get tricked by them, because then those men who are not respecting or not approaching it the right way, they'll have nowhere to go. They'll have no women to use. You understand? And then after a while, they'll be forced to come and approach things with respect if they have no women to use. Do you understand how that works? Right? Hot Mellow says, the trust I have in you is insane. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You can have trust in me. Right? I think for some of you, and let me know in the chat, because I know that some of you have been listening to me for quite some time now. Let me know, have any of you been able to actually implement any of the advice that we discuss and actually seen it work for you how I said it would work? Or have you guys just been listening and been like, I'm not actually going to try and utilize any of this? Or maybe even just been listening and been like, I tried it, but it didn't work. Okay. Maybe I'm just full of BS. I don't know. I might be. I'm just a human being. Okay. Marcy says, yes. I see Sky says 100. Anise says, I followed you for months and it does work. Georgia says 100. Right. Mia Jones says 100. Right. Brown Sugar says, I can see more clearly. Okay. Bree says, not dating at the moment though. Good. Maybe you need to take a break. I haven't taken the advice, but you've become wiser. Okay. Molly says, can you answer me, please? What was your question? I might have missed it. Kina says, I'm all over it, using it now. Good. SH says, I want to take my time and learn from you before I do the next step. Well, by the time you make the next step, you'll be so far ahead. You'll be like an expert. Okay. Which I'm glad for. Okay. Dee Dee's a new follower, so you got a lot to catch up on. We've been here for a while, having great conversations for like months now. You got so much to catch up, so much amazing stuff to catch up on. So make sure you head to my YouTube. Okay. I'll answer a few more of your questions, and before we hop into the Discord, because obviously today's Friday, and we have lots of questions to get to in the Discord. So before we hop into the Discord, please make sure that if you want me to answer your question, make sure you go into the link in my bio on TikTok. If you're on TikTok and ask your question, or if you're on YouTube, I pinned it right at the top of the chat, the link to the Discord, and you can go ask your question there, because we're going to hop in there in a bit and answer these questions live. Okay. Watermelon says, where do these guys learn these techniques? It's a learned technique over a period of time, right? So as time goes on, guys learn, okay, I want access to Squirtle. I also want access to Squirtle very easily and quickly and efficiently. So it's just kind of a trial and error thing. And they gain an understanding of how they should speak and treat women in order to see the result that they want to see. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and also you have to keep in mind, these men also have other men in their lives who are older, wiser, or have been through other situations. So it's a combination of the trial and error and them also learning from what the other guys do, trying it for themselves, and then they figure out, okay, so if I sell her a dream, I act like Prince Charming, I say these particular things, I love bomb, I can get what I want. And then in their experience of actually getting what they want quickly, they realize, okay, this is the technique that I stick with. And whenever they want access to a woman, they just use that same technique. You understand what I mean? Right? Molly said, I'm in this situation now. I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave. Molly, your situation sounds like a perfect situation for the Discord. So please go over into the Discord. It's in the link in my bio on TikTok. Write out your entire situation, because I'll be able to give you a much more detailed answer. There's no way you'd be able to give me a detailed understanding of your situation in one sentence, right? So go on the Discord where you can type out paragraphs of your whole situation, and I'll answer it in detail on the show. Okay. Manipulation gets the draws. It's true. That's why this is called the Players Club, that you can understand how to play the games that you want to play and get to the places that you want to get to. And for those of you who are scared of manipulation or think it's a bad thing or think it shouldn't have any place in our life or our world, I'll be the first one to tell you that whether or not you believe in manipulation, whether you think it's good or bad, it will be existing before you, and it will be existing much after you. And you will be getting manipulated whether you realize it or not. Okay? So if you choose not to take part in it, if you choose not to acknowledge it, if you choose not to utilize it, fair enough. But I guarantee you, people will be manipulating you to get what they want out of you, and you'll have no idea. Okay? Sophie says, do men genuinely love women as much as women love men? Yeah, I think so. I don't think that there's anything. You have to understand, the fact that men will use and take advantage of some women has nothing to do with the fact that they can't love women. It just has everything to do with the fact that if they want to fulfill a desire of getting access to Squirtle, and they know that you'll give that to them without the commitment or the effort or the consistency, then they'll take it. It's like coming across someone on the street who is literally saying, someone walk up to me and take my $1,000 out of my hand free of charge. You understand what I'm saying? Eventually they just say, oh, well, if you're not forcing me to do anything and work anything for this $1,000, sure, I'll just take it out of your hand for free. It's $1,000. I can use $1,000, right? So it's the same concept. They just think to themselves, I mean, if you're not going to make me work for Squirtle, make me have any commitment for it, I'll just take advantage of you and take advantage of that, right? I know it sounds grim, but it's still like that's, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be the person to tell you that the world is actually sunshines and rainbows and we all frolic in flower booms and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I just can't sit here and talk to you about the world in that way as if that's where we actually live, because it sounds good when you're hearing it, right, on a screen. But when you go out into your real life, you won't be able to utilize any of the information that we talk about, because that's not the world we live in. We don't live in a utopia. So me talking about how things should be doesn't actually help you deal with the real world that you live in. That's why a lot of what I say might sound harsh, but at the end of the day, that harshness is what's actually going to help you maneuver in the real world, not in make-believe land where all men treat women with respect. Like, let's be so for real, okay? Right? Doing this, he wants me to chase him, and if I chase him, it makes him run away. Exactly. Right? That's what I love the lost. We can't sit and lie to ourselves. I 100% agree. That's what I love the most, you meant to say. I 100% agree, right? The less we lie to ourselves, the more we take accountability for our own actions and figure out how we can change our situation. That's how you change your situation. That's why this is called the Players Club. It's not just about playing games or anything like that. What it's really about is playing life and getting out of life what you desire out of life. You understand what I'm saying, right? Being a player, right, requires you to have active participation where you're taking control of your destination rather than sitting back and saying, I'm just going to allow life to happen to me. Woe is me, where all my relationships end up tragic and sad and everyone leaves me in the dust. We're not going to come here and, talk to each other about how tragic and sad we are. Okay. Right. Molly says, sir, when you going to answer me on Discord? I just want to know the time and thanks. Molly, keep in mind, there are lots of other people who are sitting in front of you in the Discord. I know for you and your own personal situation, you feel like it's the most important thing in the world, but just keep in mind there's a queue. So even though you asked your question on Discord, there might be some people before you that get their question, that need also their question to be answered. Okay. If you're here participating with us for multiple days, right? We're here every weekday. You'll definitely see your question answered. But if you're only looking for your question to just be answered and then you're never going to participate in the chat ever again, then this probably isn't the place for you. Okay. Yolanda says in the YouTube chat, how to stay in elegance, in an elegant way, goodbye to such a man when we are tired of the breadcrumbs. You don't have to. You don't owe him anything, right? You don't owe him anything, right? You don't owe these guys anything. Like, I think sometimes you guys are so worried about like a man who doesn't treat you well trying to like properly tell him that you're over him, when really that's only the ego boost that you're talking. Like, you only want the ego hit of being able to say, yeah, I'm done with you forever, I'm walking away from this. When in reality, like, you don't even need to say anything. You can actually just walk away. If you don't feel like someone's treating you how they need to treat you, just walk away. And then if they ask you why you walked away, you can choose whether or not you want to tell them. But like, you don't need to explain to people why you walked away because they mistreated you. They like, these guys also aren't idiots. Like, they know if they're mistreating you. Okay. Melissa says, how to do the inverse and hook the man. Is it by making him invest money? Okay. This is the thing I'll say about the investing money thing. And I've seen this come up a lot of times because I know a lot of you like to compare me to Shira. Him investing money in you is great. And I love the stuff that Shira says. I agree with most of it. However, I think that if you become hyper focused, I always like to live life in a balance. I think too much, an extreme of anything is not good. If you become hyper focused on him investing his money into you as a form of validation that you're in the right relationship or that he actually cares about you, you will find yourself in a place where men can easily manipulate you by throwing money at you. And you'll feel like you're having a real connection or growing a real relationship with someone who just has disposable income. Okay? Like, I just want you guys to keep that in mind, because remember, the same things you're thinking about, the guys also, remember I talked about developed techniques, the guys also grow an understanding of what you want, and then their approach adjusts based on what they know your desires are. So remember, I always talk to you guys about, okay, the guys sell you a dream because they know you've been watching your Disney princess movies and you want to be like the Disney princess. So what do they present themselves as? They present themselves as Prince Charming. But now that the culture is shifting, where the women are more concerned with, oh, does he have a lot of money? Does he drive a nice car? Can he take me to Nobu? Can he spend $1,000 on the date? The men just say, oh, okay, I see now. You don't want Prince Charming. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a rich man to spend money on you. That's your version of validation. So they abandon selling you a dream and they just realize, okay, I'll just get a whole bunch of disposable income. And now I take her on a nice fancy date. She's convinced that we have a real relationship because I spent $300 on the date. She's taking snaps, telling her friends. I get to utilize her in the first night, second date, whatever, right? And then I throw her to the wayside and go get the next girl. And all I had to do was throw some disposable income at her, knowing that that would convince her that now she's validated. Now we have a relationship. Now this is what she's been looking for, right? This is why I say the techniques, the men's techniques are chasing after your desires. Okay. So they know they want access to you and your Squirtle. They're just going to develop the techniques that make it easiest for them to do that. So as your focus becomes more on money, so does the men's focus. They just think, I'll get rich, I'll have disposable income, I'll throw it at her. Cool, I get access to her the same way. It just costs me a little bit extra money. Right? That's why I always advise you guys to be very cautious of living on any extreme, especially the extreme of, I want him to invest money. I want him to invest money. And I want to invest money. Where's your money? Where's your money? And that's all you're thinking about, because then you stop focusing on anything else. And then the guys realize, you only care about investing money. Sure, I'll play along with your game. I'll invest money, when in reality, I'm just investing in that Squirtle. And once I get it, I'll be gone anyways. So there'll be no more investing after that. So what's the minimum spend for Squirtle? Basically, that's what they start saying. What's the minimum? You know, like how at the club, you have the minimum spend to get a table for bottle service, right? They'll start thinking to themselves, what's the minimum spend here for Squirtle? Because I just want the absolute minimum spend. And then after that, I'm dipping. So let me know. You want me to invest money? What's the minimum spend here? Let's get to it. The minimum $300 date, done. Minimum spend. I got Squirtle. All right, get the hell out of here. And you're traumatized either way. Okay. Raquel said, at least you got something out of it. See, my only problem when people say that, right? Not to single you out, Raquel. My only problem when people say that is, so do you actually think that your mind, body, and soul is only worth a few $100s or a Chanel bag? I hate to be that person that makes it super deeper than it actually needs to be. But like, that's really me. Like, do you actually think that in return for the trauma of giving your mind, body, and soul to someone who just utilized you and threw you away, that getting a bag or some money in return is actually a worthy match or some sort of even transaction, even a comparable transaction? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't like the idea of, not to single you out, Raquel, but I just don't like the idea of feeling like it's justified somehow or it's any better because you ended up with something, as if that would ever equate to your mind, body, soul, and spirit. I'm a very spiritual person, so I don't take that lightly. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just me. That's just me. So that mindset that bothers me, you know? Right? BB Jones says, Cher doesn't encourage women to give their bodies, just get the bag. I mean, to each his own. But I still, the reason I say be cautious with that is because even in the process of you getting the bag, sometimes you get, if you're too focused on it, you get lost in it, right? And that's the only thing you're thinking of. And when you get to an extreme place, you're only thinking of one thing. Your vision becomes so tunneled, you can't see anything else. That's where you leave blind spots to be manipulated by people. Okay. Just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that Cher is wrong, because I can't sit here and say, oh, I know everything about relationships, guys. Do everything that I say. Nobody else knows the answer to it. Guys, I'm just a single human being. I could be absolutely wrong in everything I say. I just think, just be mindful. Just something to think about. Okay. Let's hop into Discord. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Friday and it's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. We're hopping into the Discord. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. Oh my God. Okay, let's hop into the Discord here. All right, I told you guys, we got tons of questions today. Okay, Jonah, let's start off with Jonah. We got Jonah here, number 1 in the Discord. So Jonah says, or I say Joha, not Jonah, Joha, don't want to fall in love yet, before advice. Okay, interesting. I have been on 6 dates with a guy. He schedules dates frequently, but rarely communicates on text during the week. Not necessarily a bad thing. He's using it as a scheduling tool, as it should be used. Last time we saw each other, I told him I like when a guy shows me interest and texts me or calls me. Why? Oh, okay. I know we haven't finished this, but side note, guys, I always tell you guys, this is very bad. Do not encourage guys to text or call you more. The only thing you need to be encouraging him to do more is plan more in-person dates with you. You're not going to be in a relationship with the best texter or caller, because now his focus will be on being a great texter or caller. That does not serve you. Okay. Keep him in a place where he feels rewarded, right, for taking you out and scheduling dates with you. That is what really matters. So I know we haven't finished this yet, but you're doing this backwards, Joha, by encouraging. I know that you want him to contact you 24/7. This also stops him from being able to miss you, right? And continue desiring and anticipating the next time he will go on a date with you. Okay. So this whole stuff about text you and call you more, don't get off of that. Don't be worried about that. Keep him encouraged to take you out on more dates. That's what you should be encouraging him to do. So last time we saw each other, I told him I like when a guy shows interest and texts or calls me. He started doing it this week, but I feel it's forced. I never initiate, but I try welcoming when he texts. I don't think he has told me what he is looking for. I'm looking for a committed relationship. How do I ask him without sounding desperate? I want to set a standard so he knows that I'm not just looking for a hookup. No pineapples has happened yet. Good. I also, he told me he's been divorced for 2 years, but his Facebook profile says he's married. That's really dependent on, how old he is and how often he uses Facebook. Some people don't really check that. So I wouldn't read super deep into that. How do I make sure he is divorced and not just separated? That's good. You're asking questions. That's good. I really like him and don't want to mess it up. How do I enchant him? I feel intimidated. He is super intelligent. What mindset should I have so he is not turned off by my lack of intelligence compared to his? I try to ask as many questions and listen to him, but I have heard that if they talk a lot, they will only see you as a friend, but they want someone to listen to. No. So if you talk less, listen more, and listen well, he will actually like you more, and he'll be able to project onto you any amazing qualities that he wants to project onto you. As it relates to this first half, like I told you guys before, do not encourage men to text and call you more, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't encourage them to contact you, but you don't want to get them in the habit of focusing their attention on trying to be present with you over text and phone call, because the men get easily tricked by this too. It's not just you. The men get easily tricked into feeling like they're spending time with you and talking to you over text and call, and they become complacent and satisfied with the amount of access they have to you that they don't feel it's necessary to pursue going on real in-person dates anymore, right? It kills that hunger and desire to see you in person when they constantly have access to you over the phone. You want to keep him starved of you over the phone, that he will constantly be hungry for the next time he can see you in person. That's how you get all these in-person dates. That's how, because like I said, guys, you're not on dating apps to text people. Guys, I'm gonna back out here. Look at me. You are not trying to make pen pals with men. Stop this foolishness. Okay? This is not your pen pal. Right? A lot of you guys are falling into this pen pal trap because you just want someone easy and casual to text. Absolute waste of your time. Stop doing that. It's hurting your relationships, and it's hurting your ability to grow real relationships, okay? Stop doing that pen pal stuff, right? And stop encouraging men to be your pen pal, all right? This, I know Joha has her heart in the right place. Obviously, she's asked questions because she wants her advice, but this type of stuff is encouraging men to be your pen pal instead of doing what he was already. Think about this. He was already doing what you needed him to do. He was scheduling dates frequently. That's all you need. You don't need him to text you and call you a bunch. It doesn't matter. He texts you and calls you when it's relevant to scheduling the next in-person date. That's all you need. Because that's how you're going to grow a real relationship. When you're actually with each other for 10 years and you're living together, that's when you can call and text because you need to communicate throughout the day. This stuff at the very beginning of the day, you don't need that to better understand. None of what he says to you over call or text is going to actually grow your relationship or better help you understand him. Okay? And at the end of the day, you'll have a much better time preparing yourself for all the questions and how amazing the in-person conversation can be when you don't spend all this low quality time in between that texting and calling, right? I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but if you text and call someone too much, by the time you get in person, sometimes you feel like you don't really have anything to talk about because everything you needed to talk about, you talked about over the phone or over text. And so you feel like, oh, well, what's the point of me bringing this up? We're talking about this. There's nothing really for us to catch up on. And a lot of times the process of catching up with someone on what they've been doing, what they've been up to, can lead to more conversation and can take you to very interesting places. And all of that stuff will make him feel like, wow, this is such a stimulating conversation. Wow, you're so interesting. You're the one saying, Joha, that you want to come across as more intelligent, and so that he'll be more interested in you and never get bored with you. Well, one of the ways is by making yourself scarce over the text, that by the time he sees you, you guys have so much to talk about, so much to share, so much of your life, so much to ask, so much this and that. By the time every time you guys finish up a date, he always feels like, damn, that was 4 hours that just flew by. And I don't even feel like we got to talk about anything. There's still so much I want to talk about. And that's what leads to every date for him feeling like he didn't fully get you as much as he wanted to get you, right? He leaves the date unsatisfied with how much he was able to see you. And so what does that do? It triggers him to say, okay, I need to see her more. I spent 4 hours with her. That wasn't enough. I need to see her again. So the first thing he's doing when he gets home is he said, please, yo, when are you free again? We got to see each other. Yo, next, can you make it? Okay, can we make it 3 days? We just had I know it was a 4 hour, but come on, man. Let's go out somewhere. We could go to a picnic, right? And he's just fiending. That's what you want. You want them hungry, right? Let him be in his masculine. Let him be hungry for you. Like just keep that desire. Like don't kill that desire for him by just a Snapchat 24/7. You're Snapchatting the side of your face. You're Snapchatting your cat. You know what I mean? Texting him all the time. Hey, what you doing? What's up? Oh, what are you doing? I'm eating. Bro, what are you eating? Oh, I'm taking a shower. Oh, how long was your shower? Nice shower. I'm going to the gym. Oh, send you some memes. Haha, that was funny. LOL. Like, right? All of that stuff, it just makes him sit back and go, she's cool. She's chill, right? He doesn't feel that. He starts to associate you with all the feelings he feels when he's in contact with you. So when it's all this text, Snapchat, all the stuff that doesn't really mean anything, he just starts to associate with you with, it's just part of the day. Nothing really super amazing. Nothing really super bad. It's just there. Just exists, right? You do not want him associating you with those feelings. All right. Very bad. Okay. I know I went on a rant about that, but that stuff gets me angry. Okay. Angry. So my advice to you would be to let go of the text, let go of the calling, and keep him encouraged to see you in person. Do not even bother asking him to do more calling or text. Don't even address it. Actually go back on your word and say you actually really appreciate how much he does go out of his way to plan dates with you. I want you to kill whatever you just did in terms of encouraging him to call and text you more. I want you to destroy that by telling him how much you actually appreciate it instead, that he'll take you out and schedule dates with you. That way he knows you do not expect that from him in the future. You just expect him to continue doing what he's been doing. Okay? Eternal Love says, advice on moving on. Okay. Eternal Love's question is, I'm 20 female. You just made the cut. I'm a 20 female. I don't like to talk about my life as if I'm a victim, but lately my life has been tough. I used to be in a relationship with a guy who was also 20. He was my first boyfriend. We met when we were 15. He was my emotional support during our relationship. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. So sorry to hear that. But my boyfriend made me feel like I had a normal life. My dad got a new job, so we had to move to the US. I was very sad about leaving my boyfriend, but we promised we would remain together. 4 months went by with long distance. He was busy more often and rarely called me. One day I told him how I felt and asked if he could call me more. He got defensive and said that I could also call him, and it didn't make sense that he had to call me always. Excuse me. All of this conversation was on text. Oh God. He turned everything around and made me feel guilty. I said that if he couldn't resolve things, we couldn't be together anymore. He said, I would never think about breaking up with you for a situation like this. His behavior wasn't something I could accept. So we broke up, and he never seemed to know why. Later, I asked if I could call him, but then he said he had an event with his friends, and he said he only had 30 minutes to talk, but preferred not to because he didn't want to be sad at the event. I felt he didn't prioritize me, so I blocked him. Weren't you guys broken up? His behavior. So we broke up. Why were you expecting him to prioritize you when you broke up with him? Then my mom suggested that I should unblock him and tell him that we were breaking up for good. So I did. In occasions like my birthday, he would reach out just to wish me a happy birthday. 1 week after my mother passed, Well, sorry. I was very vulnerable and reached out to him and thanked him for being there for me in the past. He said he was happy to help me, but didn't know if it was the best decision because he still had a lot of feelings for me. Okay, I know that I should seek therapy, but I can't afford that. I know there is people with more experience that could give me advice on how to move on. Okay, that's actually a great question, Eternal Love. I think that in your situation, I don't think that you're a bad person for reaching out back to him for someone who was actually really there for you during a really tough time. And I understand why you did that, in a time when you were vulnerable and things like that. But you also have to, part of maturing is realizing that not every relationship is going to be forever, and that's fine. It's painful, that realization, but it's the reality. And, having him there to help you through the situation, while that is something that you definitely can appreciate and remember for the rest of your life, that doesn't necessarily mean that your romantic relationship has to work out simply because he was there for you. And for a lot of people, including myself, but for a lot of people, long distance just doesn't work. And I talked to you guys about this. Obviously, I talked to you guys more about long distance as it relates to just being a pen pal. But when you've known someone and you go from being in a no distance relationship with them to a long distance, it can be very painful. And if both parties aren't really truly invested in really making it work, not just like, okay, we'll see how we feel throughout this long distance. It's got to be like, okay, you're moving. Let's figure out the next time I'm going to see you in person. Like you've got to be so hands-on with the scheduling of the next time you guys are going to see each other, because then it becomes a very weird limbo where each of you just kind of feel like, okay, we're doing long distance, but for how long? And you kind of just feel like where is this meant to go? Are we just going to be long distance forever? And those questions start to create doubt in both of your minds. And if that's not addressed properly by understanding, no, we're still in a relationship and we're still going to spend time together. Actually, the next time we're going to see each other is this date at this time. What happens is if you don't have that anticipation to be able to build or look forward to, it just starts to go downhill as each day passes, right? Because each individual starts thinking to themselves, well, I'm not really seeing my person. Yeah, I get to talk to them on the phone or text, but what is there to look forward to? And as each person begins to feel like there's less and less to look forward to each individual day, the luster and excitement of the relationship and the other person slowly fades after a while, unfortunately. And it's only something you can really know once you've experienced it, which is why I can talk about it in detail. So, Eternal Love, my advice to you would be to accept the fact that you guys had a relationship. He was there for you, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to continue having a relationship simply because he was there for you. And it's okay if the distance that was created through you moving ended up hurting the relationship and it's just not something that's going to work out. Unless there's a way that you can actually see him in person regularly. Like when I say regularly, I just mean like in some realistic fashion. And you're 20, so you don't really have that much control over where you live, and maybe you don't have the funds to be able to be taking trips there and him taking trips to you. And so you might just be in a place where the best thing for you to do is accept your reality for what it is and be okay with that. It's not the end. I know when you're 20 years old, it feels like the end of the world, but it's not. Okay. Just let each day pass. And as each day passes, each day will become slightly easier, and to the point where you'll realize that was an experience, but eventually my life goes on. Okay. Holly said, wow, we have so many. This was Lennon Leaks. I think this was a reply from Lennon Leaks. Yeah, that was a reply. Keys, I also believe, is a reply. Yep, Keys is a reply. You guys still with me in the TikTok chat? I just want to make sure you guys are still with me. Okay. Keys was also a reply. This was a response. Yes, we did this one a while ago. Baby Bliss, this was a response. Sorry guys, I'm just going through because some of them pop up back onto the feed, even if they're just someone's response from an old one. Yeah, some of these are old, so I just want to clear them out. and make sure everyone gets a chance to get their question answered. He's so busy. We did hers as well. Blossom. Okay, this is a new one. Oh, I see. It says new. Discord's so smart. It says new whenever it's new. On and off, and sudden foreign long distance relationship. Okay, wow. Okay, this should be interesting. Buckle up, guys. Buckle up. Blossom says, "Hi, we are in our mid-20s and have known each other since the end of high school. Back when we started dating and had it going for 5 months, back when we started dating and had it going on for 5 months, then we ended things because when we were separated after a few days, he started dating a classmate he went out with and told was his friend." Am I missing something? Back when we started, going for 5 months. Okay, we separated after a few days he started dating his classmate. Okay. That same summer he split with her and we didn't talk all summer. We both started to go to different colleges and time went on, and after about 9 months I decided to ask how he was single all the time. He replied to me, and since then we were on and off for like 3 years. Then we broke it off because he was talking to other girls and all our interactions felt like a situationship, and I really didn't enjoy that. Then for 2 more years he went working abroad. Last year he returned from work abroad and continued to study. Also texted other girls, but after a half a year of him being back, I woke up to a text from him asking how I'm doing, and after some talk, he asked me out. What? That's so random. I agree. You agreed. I agreed, thinking he grew up, and on the meeting day, he said that he won't be able to come. Oh, like asking you out, as in asking you like just out on a date. I thought you meant asking him to be his girlfriend. I was like, what? And I also had other plans. Few days later, wished him happy holidays just to have no response after the holidays. Found out he just got into a long distance relationship with a girl from a game he plays. What do you mean? From a game he plays? Like he's a sports player? And she lives in a whole different country across the world. They met after holidays in January, and he paid for an Airbnb to meet her. How would you have all this information? He paid for an Airbnb to meet her in another country for a week and have where would you get this information from? Okay. Then she made and posted a couple TikToks in that Airbnb, and then he came back, put their couple pic in his profile picture, added her to friends and families and socials, and sends and posts with her with flowers every month. Also, she asked, you just want to torture yourself, huh? You're watching all this. Also already has tickets bought to go to her country to spend with July with her. How do you have this information, Blossom? How would you receive? You are doing some expert level FBI stuff, which this is not a good use of your time and energy. But still checks up on me back when he didn't respond to my text and saw he was pursuing her. I deleted my text and made some hints for him to know that I also can switch up quick. Would appreciate your opinion. My opinion, Blossom. Blossom, I don't want to be mean to you. You need to get over this and get over yourself. What I mean by get over yourself, I'm not trying to be mean, but this man does not want you. Like, I don't like he doesn't want to make you his girlfriend. Okay. Like he's not going to treat you how he treated the other girl. And actually it's kind of sad how all of this information, this entire paragraph here, like this is actually really sad. Like this is really tragic. Like The fact that you would even have any of this information means you've been doing research on research on research on research. This is not healthy for you. Think about this. Like, you've invested this much time and energy into someone else's life, when all of this time and energy you've been spending invested into what he's doing and what she's receiving from him could have been spent on yourself. Okay? I guarantee you, this girl that he flew across the country for and got an Airbnb for, she probably doesn't even know your name. You know why? Because her man probably never speaks of you. Imagine that. You're invested in the whole life of a woman who has no idea who you are. But you know where she's been. You know what she looks like. You know what her name is. You know the last time she saw her man. You know how many flowers she get. You know what their this is insane. This is insane. You know what her future plans are for the tickets he bought to go to her country in July. Okay? Like, that's not healthy. Okay? This isn't even stuff like, this is going on like Joe of from the TV show You levels. Like, you don't just know what they're doing currently, you know what they're about to do in the next couple of months. Like, you need to get a grip, Blossom. This is not to diss you. You need to get a grip, because you're losing it the deeper you go down this rabbit hole of being invested in what he's got going on. He clearly doesn't really care for you or want anything to do with you. Cool. You guys had a little fling, early on, high school days. You had a little situationship for the 3 years. Clearly, he didn't take it as seriously as he takes this girl in his new relationship. So I think your best bet is to just accept the fact that you weren't the girl that was going to inspire that treatment from him, and actually figure out what it was that you might have done or said that made that so. Because I doubt it's that you were an unattractive girl, because he messed with you for 3 years. So there probably was some things about your approach that, I don't know you, okay, I may be wrong, but there might be some things about your approach that could lead you to getting a man to chase you instead of getting him to go to another girl and give him everything that you seem to be wanting. Okay, this type of stuff doesn't happen by accident. This is where I tell you guys, I'm not saying this to offend you, but this type of stuff doesn't happen by accident. If it's not that she's such a better, more attractive woman than you, then some girls getting this chasing princess treatment versus some girls not getting this is actually a function of your approach. Okay? And what this tells me is that if you're doing this much stalking of what they're doing, you're probably leaning closer into the world of, I really need your attention and validation, which is why you end up doing this. And for some of us, listen, trust me, I get it. I have lots of friends. I've heard people talk about this before as well. I think you're in a perpetual cycle of, you almost enjoy the pain of, let me know, guys, if this makes no sense or if it makes sense. I think, Blossom, you're in a little bit of a cycle where you almost enjoy the pain of going there and seeing him do that with her, and kind of almost like putting yourself in pain about this situation, almost like as a way to degrade yourself, right? Because for you to know that he's doing this with this other girl and then continue to like pry, and like, you have so many different details about things that he's done with her and for, like, you're talking about he buys her flowers every month. That means you're checking up on what they're doing consistently to see that is not healthy. And that's you're just putting yourself in constant pain to the point where it almost sounds like you're doing it on purpose, that you will be hurt and feel worse about yourself, right? And I don't want that for you. And I think the best thing for you to do is to block him and her on everything, that you're not tempted to look at any of their stuff anymore, because it doesn't serve you. What they're think about this, they're happy in their relationship, and you're sitting in here hurting about a man who doesn't think of you and a girl who has no idea who you are. That is absolute lunacy. Okay? And you can't be like that forever. You will be in so much pain and you'll never be able to build any real relationships with anyone else when you're sitting here gawking and being sad over a guy who doesn't even think of you. Like, that's so sad, Blossom. Okay? Don't do this to yourself. Block them on everything and do not look back, please. Okay? That was Blossom's. Next we have Miss St. Louis. Oh, Miss St. Louis been in the TikTok chat. Wow. She transitioned into the Discord. She's got a question. Okay. I hope Miss St. Louis is still here. Miss St. Louis says, so I've been putting the phone down like you advised and not been so available and been hearing from him less because of it. Not sure if this is a good or a bad thing. What do you think? He was giving me pen pal energy. Now I don't know what it's giving. Okay, I'll tell you, Miss St. Louis. I hope you're still here, Miss St. Louis. I'll tell you exactly what that is. Okay, and this is the painful realization that a lot of you will come to if you take my advice like Miss St. Louis did. Okay, the realization that some of you are going to have is that after you begin contacting him less and being less available to him on the phone, you'll come to the realization that the only reason you guys were in constant communication was actually because you were the one doing the pursuing. Okay? What I mean by that is once you stopped reaching out, you guys stopped having conversation because he never was actually reaching out to you, right? It was really more of a function of how much you were pursuing him, that the moment you let your foot off the gas, he actually had no interest in pursuing you in the first place. And so he showed that by not contacting you as much back or in general, right? And this is why it's such a great strategy, because it entices the men who are already actually genuinely interested in you to take a step forward. And then the men who actually didn't have that genuine interest in you, they end up, I don't even want to say taking a step back. You end up just actually seeing the trees for what it is, right? And realizing that he never had any intention of really pursuing you or chasing you or being with you, which just shows you that he wasn't really ever interested in you. And so Miss St. Louis, in your specific situation, if you stop reaching out to a guy and you put the phone down and all of a sudden you're hearing from him less, that's because he was never truly that interested in you in the first place, in which case he was probably using you to get something out of you, or simply because you were the one pursuing him. Some guys are willing to take your Squirtle because you're willing to pursue. Actually, this is Miss St. Louis. This was a perfect show for you. How men bait you into chasing them, because you might be in this exact situation where, because of the things he's been doing, you didn't even realize how you were the one pursuing him. And you were so blinded by that now that you actually took a step back, you realize, oh my God, there's no conversation if I don't strike the conversation. He doesn't have any intention of going out with me. He doesn't have any intention of building a relationship with me. I was literally offering him Squirtle. I was literally offering myself to him for free. And simply because it was free and easy and accessible, that was the only reason we were spending any time together. And so that sometimes can be the painful realization that some of us have after you put the phone down. Okay. I see Miss St. Louis is in the chat. So I'm glad you were able to get my live reaction to the question, but at least now you have the information and you can better move forward. Okay. Next we have M. M says, provider. My provider thinks he's the prize. I'm not sure what you mean by provider. Do you mean like a rich man that just gives you things? My provider thinks or is this like a kinky thing? Can I even say that on TikTok? Okay. My provider thinks he's the prize. You guys got to let me know. I don't know if this is like a dirty thing. My provider thinks he's a prize, and any advice to flip the script. I'm already going out alone during this week. He says, have fun. You guys have to let me know what provider. I'm not sure what that relationship means. My provider thinks he's the prize. You guys got to let me know what that means. He's proving financial stability. So like, he's like a trick, a man who tricks on you. Okay. A money man. All right. So he thinks he's the prize because he's giving you money. I mean, okay. and you're saying how to flip the script. So I'm confused. What are you trying to flip the script on? If he's a provider, and if it's based on what the girls are saying in the chat, that this is a rich man that's gonna give you money, what are you trying to flip the script on? He's giving you money. Like, are you saying that you're trying to turn a guy who's tricking on you to like actually genuinely like you? That's why I'm a little bit confused here. Okay, Gabby says she wants him to chase her and stop acting arrogant towards her. Well, how arrogant can he really be if he's providing money? Like, and is it really arrogant for him to say have fun that she wants to go out alone? I'm confused here. I'm confused here. Like, because this just sounds like an ego thing, but I'm confused. What do you, okay, this is my confusion here. If you're considering him a provider, like if that's how you're speaking of him, then that speaks to what you're receiving from him and what you're there for. So then I'm confused why you call him a provider and then you're asking to flip the script as if you want him to be genuinely interested in you, as if that affects his ability to provide for you. I'm confused that way. Because if he's someone you're genuinely interested in, why do you refer to him as a provider? If you were genuinely interested in him and you just actually wanted to flip the script so that he would like you more, wouldn't you be referring to him as like the man you're dating or you're trying to, like you're in a talking stage with? That's the only reason I'm confused, is because if he's a trick, then why do you care about flipping the script? If he's literally saying if he's continuing to provide and you can go and do whatever you want while he provides, what's the lose there? Like, you're catching feelings for the man who's tricking on you? I'm confused. Isn't that what you came there for in the beginning? I think you need to clarify, because I think there's too many questions here. Went in with money expectations. Now she likes him. I mean, I guess, but still, that's an assumption. And this is why it's so important, guys. You got to be detailed with your questions, because I'm not really sure exactly what M wants from this specific situation or what her actual status is, because that's just confusing to me. My thing is, if she caught feelings now, then why are you still referring to him as the provider? And then if he was that, but now it's transitioned, then you got to specify that in the message, right? Because now I'm making assumptions of what it is based on that. Okay. I see M is typing there. Maybe we'll come back to that after M clears some of that up, because I'm a bit confused still. I want to get this name right. Annalena says rejection, then coming back. And Alina says, so first I was on a birthday party. Then he asked me on a date after I wrote him. Then he asked me on date after date. I wrote him like, hi, why are you not writing? What? And he was like, we are on different road. I am old. Guys, you need to spell check your questions. I am on different road. I am old, 30. I am 20. I need a family and kids, and he does not think we can build something serious and something unserious. I am probably not interested. 3 months. What? 3 months later, he wrote me if I want to cinema. We went a movie. Okay, I'm not doing this. If you have a question, please put it in narrative form and make it make sense. I have no idea what this question is even asking, but he said nothing. Like, there's no context. This makes no sense. Okay. Like, you got to make this make sense. Annalena, no offense to you, but like, this makes no sense. I can't grasp what it is you're trying to say or the question you're trying to ask. Okay. Okay, perfect. If you are not an English speaker and you find it hard to express your words in English, you can always go down to the the voice channel if you really want, and we can stream your question in the voice channel. Just gotta let me know if you want to do that, okay? Because I can't. There's no way I can understand what's being said here. I don't think anyone in the chat can understand either. Okay, no offense to you, Annalena. Let's see here. So Rose says mistake. Met this guy on a dating app. Been on a couple dates, and gave him pineapples too when we slept over at his place on different weekends. 24 hours each spend. He wants to schedule a date, but to sleep at his place afterwards. How do I not sleep at his place? Rose, you've already made the mistake. I'm confused. If you've been listening to me for any period of time, why are you still on the dating apps? Let's assume that maybe you've only met me since after you've met this guy. You gave him the pineapples. You said you've only been on a couple of dates, so let's assume in the first 2 dates. Okay? I'm confused what you want from him now. Why would you sleep with him so early if you want him to take you seriously? I know some of you might be new here, but I'm trying to help you guys see how the logic does not make sense. You want to allow the man to be able to respect you and take you seriously. You are not allowing him to take you seriously when you do stuff like this. And now you're doubling back after you've already done it, and you're trying to figure out how to not sleep at his place. Like what do you mean? What's your expectation now? Are you expecting him to take you seriously now? Because he's not. He's not. Okay? I told you guys about a quote that my friend posted on his close friend stories the other day, and that really resonated with me. The quote went, sleeping with a girl who you really like on the first date is like unaliving your dog. I'll say the quote again. The quote goes, sleeping with a girl that you really like on the first date is like unaliving your dog. That was the quote. And I'm so serious. And it actually resonated with me, and it's like resonates with a lot of guys, right? Because there's no easier way to destroy the hunger and desire that we feel as men for a girl we're really interested in than to sleep with her right away, because all of that hunger and desire just poof vanishes into thin air, right? And it all just becomes pointless and useless. And I say that because it's the same thing here, right? Regardless of how he felt about you when you guys first met, sleeping with you in the first couple of dates is only going to destroy his hunger and desire for you. So now I'm confused, Rose. What do you want and expect from the relationship? Like, why are you expecting, like, see, and this is the thing. You look like an idiot if you go over to his place talking about we're not going to sleep together when you slept with him on the first couple of dates. You see how you just make yourself look like an idiot, and you also make yourself look like someone who can't be taken serious, right? So even when you set a boundary, what you think he's going to take that boundary serious? When you say we're not sleeping together after you slept with him on the first couple of dates, he's going to be like, you're literally a joke. You're a joke. He's going to laugh in your face. But you deserve that because of how you're acting. Your actions have to back up your words. You can't think you're going to set boundaries and have high standards while not having high standards. Nobody's going to believe you. So honestly, my advice to you is you might have to do a whole 180 to like show him that you not that girl. Like you might, if you really want to do this right, you might have to stop texting him. You might have to give him all types of anxiety, make him feel like he lost you, like his schlong ain't schlonging. Like, you know, like you got to make him just go on the opposite, go on the offense. Cause right now where it's looking for you, there's no reason for him to have no respect for you. Like, why would he? Like, let's be so for real. Why would he? And if you go over to his place, anything you say about we're not sleeping together, we're not doing that, he's going to laugh in your face. You're a joke to him now. So you don't be trying to set standards now and expectations now after you done already showed him you don't have too much standards or expectations. Guys, don't be doing this stuff backwards. You'll end up like Rose. We all make mistakes, obviously, but you'll end up in the same situation as Rose where people ain't going to respect. People going to laugh in your face when you try to demand respect after they see you don't have no standards for yourself. Okay, don't be putting yourself in that type of situation. All right, You gonna have to do a 180, no contact, no nothing. And if he stops reaching out to you, then you know where you stand with him. Okay, M, I think, gave some more context to her situation. M says provider means breadwinner, and he's not a trick. Okay, this totally changes everything. Okay, I don't like that he thinks he's a prize. I'm the prize. Okay, so this is just an ego thing. Okay, so but what are you saying? Is it bothering you the fact that, see, listen, M, you might have to just reconvene, come back next week and add all the context that's needed to be added, because there's still a lot of questions here. Cool, he's the breadwinner. So you're saying you're in a relationship with this man? Because if you're in a relationship with this man and you say you're going out during the week and he says have fun, that's totally different context from being in a situationship with the guy and you're single and you say you're going out. You can't expect him to say, no, don't go out. You're single, but don't go out. That's unrealistic and crazy, right? So that needs to be clarified. You're saying bread provider as in breadwinner. Are you married? Are you in a relationship? How long have you been in a relationship? Like I said, if your boyfriend's saying you can go out, okay, cool. There may be something to that, right? And I also don't know under what context is it coming under. I'm going out alone. What does that mean? Going out alone where? Doing what? You could be going out alone to the grocery store, right? What does that mean? Do you live together? That totally changes the context if you're going out alone. Do you not live together? Are you long distance, right? M, you got to provide me. You see how the format of everyone else's question was, M? How they gave me an explanation, a backstory on the relationship, what they've been through, how old they are, how long the relationship's been going on, right? All of that stuff is required in the question so that I can have full context. SH says, can she ask her question by voice option? Yeah, 100%. She can. She can if she really wants to. We can do that. Okay. But that might have to be a next week thing, so we can set that up properly for her. I think Annalena redid her question. Okay. Okay. Thank you for redoing your question. Initially, I intended his birthday celebration. Initially, I attended his birthday celebration, and subsequently, he invited me. Oh, now all of a sudden, you using big words. Okay, so I know you were just BSing this. You using big words now, so you know how to type the thing out right. Initially, I attended his birthday celebration, and subsequently, he invited me on a date. After our date, I reached out to him with a message inquiring why we hadn't been in touch. His response ended, what happened? Now you're a scholar? Now you're a scholar, Annalena? What was this BS message you sent before? Now all of a sudden you a scholar using big words and stuff. His response this must be from ChatGPT. His response indicated that our paths were diverging. This is ChatGPT. It's got to be. He mentioned his age of 30 in contrast to my 20. I'm sorry. It's just I wouldn't be laughing if it wasn't for the fact that this one made no sense, and now all of a sudden this is like it seems like you typed in the ChatGPT, write out the sentence at like a university essay level. You know what I mean? In contrast to my 20 years, expressing his desire for a family and children, he doubted the possibility of building a serious relationship, and he believed I wouldn't be interested in anything less serious. Okay. 3 months later, he contacted me suggesting we go to the cinema. We saw a film about a man trying to win back a woman, yet after the movie, he remained silent about the nature of our relationship. Now it must be more understandable. Sorry. The question is, what was his intentions? Okay, Annalena. That's funny. This must be a ChatGPT response. Because the way you just went from someone said ESL to college professor. I just don't understand. You using words like subsequently. Trust me, I'd be using big words too, but it's just funny because to just do that right after the other message is just funny. The contrast here. So you're 30, you're 20. I think in your specific situation, obviously you said he's expressing his desire for a family and children. I think his expression for a family and children, you're taking that as, well, you must be interested in me now. And I actually think this anxiety that you're expressing through this message is probably projecting outwardly in, when he's seeing you. You attended his birthday celebration and he invited you on one date. Okay, so you guys had one date. After your date, you reached out. That's a mistake. He invited you out on a date. He was chasing you. This is the problem. Some of you get anxious because, oh my God, a boy likes me. Oh my God, a boy likes me. Oh my God, a boy's showing me attention. And now you need this to be ongoing forever and continue being extreme. And if he doesn't show you attention 24/7, now you're wallowing in the mud. And I think this happened to you, Annalena, because he invited you on one date. Okay. And now you're reaching out to him. Why? He took you out on a date. And on top of that, you're inquiring why he hadn't been in touch. That's horrible. All that communicates to him subconsciously is that you're so desperate that if I take you out on a date, I'm so magnetic and magnificent and amazing that after I take you out on a date, you will literally be like, oh my God, I have nothing else to do in my life. My life is tragic and boring and uneventful if you're not taking me out on dates or talking to me. So why haven't you reached back out to me? I've been sitting here in my dark room on my bed, waiting for you to text me again, waiting for you to call me again, waiting for you to make my life interesting, because my life is a pile of heaping dog poop that nothing is happening unless you can bestow upon me your interesting magnetic personality and bring life to my otherwise boring, uninteresting life. Okay, that's what you're subconsciously communicating to him by doing this. Reaching back out to him and say, why haven't you been in touch? Why haven't you texted me? Whoa, are you sitting around waiting for me to text you, right? That all indicates to him, yeah, if you're doing that, he then thinks you must not have a lot of value, because a woman who has a lot of value that has a bunch of guys knocking down her door trying to get access to her is not worried about a guy messaging her back after he takes her out on a date. Get in line. Let's hope that you can get a second date after all these other guys are begging for time in my schedule. It shouldn't be, I was waiting for you to text me again. Why haven't you reached out? You just sound desperate and you sound like you have nothing going for yourself. And so guys aren't attracted to that. He might hang out with you for the sake of knowing that, oh, I can probably use her. I can probably take advantage of her, right? Because you're desperate, right? You've shown him that you're desperate. He said that your paths were diverging. If he actually said that, he literally took that out of a Shakespeare book and just copy and pasta onto you. Okay. It literally means nothing. That's just words. Paths were diverging. I promise you, if he had his dream girl right in front of you, there would be no paths diverging. Actually, all his paths would be leading to being inside her. So let's get for real here. He just doesn't want you. He's just trying to tell you a whole bunch of nothing. You're 20 years old, so he probably thinks you'll buy that as well. So, yeah. He contacted you going this. None of this means anything except he realizes he can take advantage of you and utilize you how he wants to utilize you. I don't think he has any intention of actually building a relationship with you, especially since you've shown yourself off to be desperate, right? So my advice to you would be to pull all the way back and stop trying literally and figuratively. Stop trying to gain his attention. Okay, because the more you are anxious for his attention, for him to reach out and try to be with you more and more, try to see you more and more, it's only going to make him see you less. It's only going to make him want you less. It's going to make him only more uninterested in you. You don't need to be you're 20 years old. You should be operating under the understanding that you are the hottest, youngest thing around. It is a privilege to be in your presence as a young, hot 20-year-old. This chasing after him as if you literally have no life is unattractive, and he's not going to want to make you his wife if he can't respect you. All right. That was it for today. Okay. So, for those of you, let me see here. That was just a response here. Okay. Yeah, so for those of you guys who have questions, make sure you go and ask it into the Discord. Well, I'll answer all your questions. Obviously, we're going to do those on Monday. I won't be here on Saturday. We're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or no, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday during the week at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be back again to have an amazing conversation with you guys at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. Until then, I will be posting some great, amazing stuff on my YouTube channel, as well as I'm going to do one exclusive, like one that's not a live show. That's just an exclusive on the YouTube main page. You got to come catch me on there. I'm posting lots of great stuff on there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go ahead, follow me on Instagram. It's sitting right above my head. You can just go and copy it on Instagram and you can follow me, see everything I'm doing throughout the weekend. I like to work out, I like to lift weights like a man. Okay. So you might just see me doing that on there as well. Okay. If you want to catch this live stream again, you love it so much, you're like, this is my first time here. I can't believe this even happens. I can't believe this show is even existing. I need something like this for the rest of my life. You can go find the show, the live show in its entirety on my YouTube. It's right above my head. Just type in my name on YouTube and you'll find the show. You go in the live section, you'll find all the shows that I've done from today and from all the past live shows. And the amazing part is you'll have the TikTok chat embedded in the live show and the YouTube chat as well. So you'll be able to follow all the conversation that's been happening, even those of you on TikTok. Okay. So it's really amazing with the username and the pictures and everything. It's awesome. It's awesome. Technology is awesome. So make sure you go onto my YouTube and subscribe and watch that. All right. I will see you guys on Monday. And for those of you who come and watch my videos on YouTube all the time, you'll hear from me again on Saturday. I love you so much. I can't wait to spend more amazing, awesome time with you on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be back again.